tickets that you can see. So you've got 7 stamps within this as well. And I mean, again, like you said, for journaling or for thinking about travel or anything like that, I think, you know, you could do such brilliant things with this. And then when you spin them around, you can see the size of those stamps.
Absolutely. And tickets are always popular.
They are.
You can tuck them into pockets. You can add details of journaling onto them, or notes from a journey you've had, or a day out you've had, something like that. You can add the details. So you're getting a real variety here. And I love the one with the planet on it. That's just gorgeous.
I do, yeah. And then Stay Curious.
You've got the tiny ones, yes, with the...
Wonder, Journey, Voyage there, Be Amazed as well, which, you know, we should always remember, shouldn't we, to be amazed?
Absolutely.
Right. I can remember when I was in Thailand and there was this sort of like board that was there, and we were scuba diving and things like that, and it was like, you know, for those people who don't scuba dive, you only see like this tiny portion of the world, and it was sort of very much about keeping those eyes open and, you know, being open to opportunities, and that's sort of what this is reminding me of, this collection, is that magic of
that
travel.
Outside of your normal atmosphere, if you like.
Yep,
literally,
definitely.
You're looking up at space.
Ink splatters as well.
I love ink splatters.
Yeah, this would work with anything, I think, in terms of your collections, to be honest.
Would. You've got that lovely scratchy corner here, which is great. Then you've got some fantastic scrolly text. Scrolly text is always good. I love the fact that it's got splats on there as well.
Same.
Then you've got some, I think they're the names of the planets and some sort of... degrees of measurement. I'm not quite sure what they are, but and then you've got splats, and I just love splats.
Yeah, I do as well. So that's one. Then you've got then 3 of your rubber stamps as well, haven't you? That we've got here.
So these are A6 background stamps, big stamps with beautiful all over focal images.
Yeah.
You can again snip into these, chop them up. You don't always have to use them exactly as they are. And I love the fact that we've made these in red rubber. Red rubber is the best, in my opinion, and lots of other stampers who've been at it a long time. Why is the best?
Why would we sort of see both? Like, you know, in terms of, is there a reason for that? Or?
Yeah, because it's easier to get more detail on an acrylic stamp for smaller stamps.
Oh, is it? Interesting.
Yes, and then the bigger stamps work better in the rubber.
Right, so this is where you'd get more detail in the really big stamps where you want it, but small. Yes, so that makes sense why there's the mix across the collections. So there's that one. We've got a couple more of your rubber stamps. We've got your Mr. Foreteller that we can see here. I mean, you just transported, aren't you?
Isn't he? You know, probably off to his club to discuss his findings of the day, or whatever it was they used to do. But I love that. I don't know if it's a sundial or a compass, but
sundial, I think.
Some beautiful instrument. You can imagine that in polished brass, with,
absolutely, definitely,
ivory inlay and all of that. I know ivory's not PC anymore, but they did used to use it, didn't they?
Yeah.
And then you've got the lovely sort of graph in the background, measuring the angles, I guess, of what they're looking at up in the sky. I don't know, but it's all very fascinating.
Yes, it is. Yeah, a lot of things I'd like to learn. And then we've got your astrology table that you can see just here as well.
This is a logarithmic table.
Okay.
Now, this I do understand. I grew up using logarithms.
Did you?
It was the days before calculators.
Okay.
Yes, I know I'm old. So you used
Only as old as you feel, as that last
well,
question said.
I could elaborate, but I won't. So you can use these to work out calculations. You could also use them to work out distances and that sort of thing. So very, very clever. I can't remember how to use them now, but
we'll come back to you if you started.
They allow you to do calculations that you just couldn't do otherwise.
Okay.
So that's really fantastic.
Lovely as a background stamp.
Absolutely gorgeous.
You know, something
or
like
to make
that.
a page in a journal. You know, if you want to do a scientific journal, that would be so fun.
Definitely. And then this paper pad that is also included, isn't it? We were all mesmerised by this. So it just fits perfectly with the stamp sets you're seeing. But I think a lot of people will want an extra, to be honest, of this as well.
Yeah. So you've got your logarithm table in there again, and then you've got some which are kind of just nice patterned backgrounds, but you've got some with planets and stars and things that relate to the stamps.
Yes.
But without being too overpowering. They're great for backgrounds, again for your journals, making pockets, making envelopes, making tags, all that sort of thing. This is just going to be an absolute treat to work with.
So there's 6 unique designs on this, and then you're getting 4 of each of them as well.
There's really 12, aren't there? Because
both
sides are very different.
Very true,
so
actually.
12 designs.
Yeah, which is even better because then you could use a couple of each, couldn't you, or anything like that if you wanted to. So So really, really beautiful pad that you can see just there as well. So all of that included in I Want It All bundle that you've got. £71.93 would be your price if you went for them all individually. But of course, we love to do a great little discount, of course, if you do want to go for all of it today. So instead of £71.93, we will bring the price in, and it's going to go to under £60 today. So £59.99. So a nice additional saving, of course, on that. Plus, it's available on split pay for you to be able to get this. So you can actually take all of that home for £30. And, you know, if we just, before we kind of come to a demo, if we just show just a few additional samples, because they're so fabulous. And I love there that they've kind of got that beautiful kind of finish and seam, but they've made sure they get that nice quote that I liked at the top as well.
I love that tripod. I'm guessing it's something you would perhaps stand your telescope on.
Yeah, probably would be, yeah.
And you know, have a look at the night sky.
Yeah.
But yeah, it can be whatever you want. Here we've got, that's come from one of the papers, and it looks like the moon, I would say.
Yeah.
That's been cut out and used as a focal
Clever
point.
as well by Angie, isn't it? Where she's kind of decoupaged there, and then she's kind of got the tickets.
Absolutely gorgeous. And can I just show in this one as well, because there's a great use of the tickets in here.
Yeah.
So we've got some on the front, and then inside we've got this fabulous little pocket. And this is one of the things you can do with these ticket stamps. So you can create a long string of tickets.
Oh, I love that.
Now you could perforate this line in between, and you could add on to those promises.
Yeah, you write little things of what you're going to do.
I'll babysit for you, I'll do your garden for you, I'll mind the kids for you, I'll take you out to dinner. Yes, please.
Great.
So really fun you can have with those. And thank you to the ladies on our DT, because really they've made some beautiful samples.
And then this one done very differently, because it's very bright from Diane as well.
Diane always likes to go outside the box with these bright colours, and they work so
and
well.
She has done something really, really lovely, of course, with that one that we can see there as well. And you can see with that image how you can use it on so many sort of different sizes, different designs. Just there you've got your little kind of postcard that's been created. You might want to do, you know, bits like that. You might want to do tags. You know, it's completely up to you kind of what you want to create with this collection.
Just so much variety.
This as well with the paper. Gorgeous envelope, of course, that's been created there. And then you open that up and it's got bits like that, your little postcards that you can then write on the back of. So, so many good ideas. Brilliant. Should we have a look at your first demo?
Shall we?
Yeah.
So I'm going to get very inky. I've got lots of inky products.
Okay, we love that.
Surprise. I've got lots of lovely inky products for you.
Okay.
I'll chat a little bit about them as I go, but hopefully we'll be able to come back and spend a bit more time.
Yeah.
So I've got some airless misters, and that's what. Oh, let me show you what we're going to do. That would help, wouldn't it? So this is sort of where I'm headed. Okay. Now, the nature of what I'm doing means this is a bit random. It won't look exactly like that, but that's all part of the fun as far as I'm concerned. So I'm going to start by inking a piece of card, and I'm going to use a stamping block as a print, if you like. You could do this straight onto your card, but you get a different effect. So I'm going to start with this one as one of our airless misters, and these are fab because they have no tube, so they never clog and stop working.
Oh, yeah, that's really good.
So I'm just going to add a little bit of this night sky, which is quite a dark colour, and then I'm going to add some water to that, just a quick mist. Okay. And I'm going to use this now like a printing block. So I'm going to turn that over, and you'll see this now spread.
Oh, wow.
Under that. Look at that.
I didn't expect that.
So exciting. That's a real ink blot, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's so exciting. You never know exactly what you're going to get, but that's cool. I like that. Let me just get rid of that. And then you can lift that up, and you'll get a variety of little dots, and you'll get this ink flow here.
Yeah, good.
Now, I would love to leave that to dry naturally because you get the better result. It's not always possible, but I also, while I'm doing this, I want to do a second piece, which I'm going to use on my second card.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take what's left on there, and I'm just going to add that to a second piece. So there's no waste.
Fab.
Or very little. And I'll just pop that aside so I can work on that later.
Okay.
So I'm just going to take off that night sky, and I'm now going to bring in some of the shimmer shaker. So I've got these little shimmer shakers. These are fantastic. They're a mica powder with a pigment and a dye content as well.
Brilliant.
They're quite intense, and I want to add some splatters with this. So onto my plate, I'm going to add a sprinkle of the powder.
Yep.
I'm going to mist that with water, and then I'm going to get my fan brush and work that into a lovely runny liquid.
Okay.
And then I can just...
Oh, right, just have that on, yep.
Add that on. There's several ways of doing this. It will give you a different result. If you leave that to dry and then put your gold or whatever colour you want on, you'll get more distinct speckles. I think you can see here, because this is still wet, it's actually creating these sort of little starbursts, like little nebula that you get in the sky. Okay. So that's part of the background. I could, if I wanted to, use this also. Yes. To print. Ooh, could end up with something that looks like a comet here. It's quite watery, so it's, look at that, that's quite really cool, isn't it? Yeah. So you can play around with that to your heart's content until you get something that you're happy with, and then just let it dry. You can always add your splats afterwards, as I say. We'll just leave that to one side. Just mop up these bits or I'll be wearing them. Right, and then I've got here one which I've allowed to dry. Fab. So you can see it's got lots of movement, it's got little, leave a little bit of white space, that's always nice. Okay. You've also got the gold shimmer. Can you see that lovely shimmer, how it's now settled into?
It's like the night sky, isn't it?
It is. That was what I was sort of going for. I think not too bad. All right, so now that's my background, and now I want to stamp on that. So I've got one of the big background stamps, and this one's got the gentleman in the top hat. Perfect. Let me just get these out. And I'm using a big stamping block. So this is the stamp I want. Okay. So these stamps come on a cling mount, and they just cling to an acrylic block or your stamping platform, whichever you prefer to use. Yeah. So use your anti-static bag onto this. I'm going to use black embossing powder, and I've brought you some basic embossing powders today as well. Yeah. So we're using a black detail. I'm going to ink my stamp with a black ink. Okay. It wouldn't really matter if I stamped it with a clear ink, such as a Versamark or a Perfect Medium or another embossing ink, because it's the powder that gives you the finished colour.
Absolutely. As you're kind of stamping on that, though, you really get to sort of see what's on this stamp. Absolutely. As well.
And give it lots of taps, and not too much pressing too hard. Just it's better to do lots and lots of tapping. Yeah, yeah. You'll get a better coverage and a more even coverage with your ink. Perfect. And then we can stamp this pretty central onto that tag. Yep. All I did to get that tag shape literally was create a rectangle about the size I wanted and then slope the corners off. Yes. So there's no measurements really required. Lovely. So give that a really firm press, allow that ink to transfer. And I'm using a Versafine Clair, which is an oil-based pigment ink. Because I'm going onto a water-based surface that I've just created, I wouldn't use a water ink because it would bleed. So you've got to use an opposite type of ink. Oh, that looks brilliant, doesn't it? So I could leave it like that, but I want it to give it a little bit of a gloss. Yeah. So we'll just chuck this on. And when you're using embossing powder, don't be stingy. Right, throw it on, because the rest of this will all go back into the jar. Yeah. Can I ask you to do that? Yeah, of course I can. Thank you so much. And then if I grab my heat gun, we can melt this and turn it into a beautiful black gloss. So where I've got a very solid area here, I'm going to heat that from the back because it will give me a much smoother finish. Okay. Where the lines are fine, it doesn't matter so much, I can go from the front. But wherever you have solid powder, it's better to heat from the back because it kind of heats it from inside. Yes. Rather than creating a crust on top. Yeah. And you'll find if you do it from the top, you'll end up with like an orange peely finish. Oh, right. Yeah. Whereas if you do it from the back, it'll end up much smoother. Okay. So it's starting to turn now. I don't know if we can get a close-up on that. And it's going to a beautiful gloss black. Now you do have to be careful that you don't overheat it. So once it's changed to that beautiful gloss, just move your heat gun along to another section. Now I'm going to turn it round because it's starting to get towards my fingers, which is not fun. Yeah, don't use to burn yourself. Not fun at all. I'm trying to keep the heat gun relatively still. Wafting it too much just takes the heat away, and and if you hold it too close, you can actually cause it to melt right into the card.
Okay.
So it is a bit of a balancing act, but you'll just have to get used to it. You practice till you know what's needed.
Yeah.
It's a lovely technique, embossing. I absolutely adore doing it.
I still think when you see the transformation is sort of warming up, I'm always like, oh, it never kind of goes, does it, that amazement?
It's gorgeous. So there we are, and now we've got that beautiful black gloss, which is going to act as a resist. So if I want to do some more inking over the top of that now, it would resist that black emboss line. So there we are. That's our basic tag. Yep. So let's move on. So I want to do some painting onto this now to bring it alive. And I'm going to use a few different products. I'm going to be using one of the shimmer shakers. I'm also going to be using another one of the misters. This one's called Maya Blue. Yep. So these are a water-based dye ink, and they are superb for spritzing onto a background straight onto the cardstock. You can also spritz them through a stencil. You can actually stamp with them as well. If you put some down on your mat and tap your stamp into it and then stamp, you'll always get a slightly blotchy image when you do that, but it's quite a nice technique. And you can paint with them. So I've just sprayed a little bit of that into my palette, and now I'm going on top. It's a beautiful colour. This one's called Maya Blue, and I'm going straight over the top of that night sky that I'd already painted in with. Wow. And you can see,
in set 2. I mean, they're all there on the web. We'll go over them in a minute, but just to let people know if they want to get, this specific colour, it's in set 2.
So, although it's got that grey undertone, it's not preventing the blue from holding its own. Isn't it? It's not as bright as it would have been if I'd gone directly onto white with it, but it's certainly going to hold its own. Now, when I get to the bottom here, I just want to fade that out a little bit. So I'm just going to use some water and just little circles. And just let that fade away. Okay. So I'll just finish doing his jacket.
Bless me.
And then,
I don't know why my hay fever's been playing up now. We're basically in autumn. It's like the last 3 days I've been like, what?
Yeah, it's not always to do with the heat, is it? It's just the season.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I'll just put a little bit more down there. And you can let this dry, and then you can go back with these products and add shade. You don't need to do anything fancy. Just let it dry, and then when it's dry, go back in. Yeah. And actually, it's really great, because on these stamps, you've got these little lines which help you, to know where to put that shade. I mean, you can put your own spin on it, but it does help you just have an idea. So you can see that there's light and dark going on there already.
Really nice.
And then with his face, now his face is grey, which is not a good look. He looks like he needs to see a doctor, doesn't he? So I'm going to bring in a little bit of the tea stain. Okay. Now these are the botanical stains from Sampool.
Yeah, these are fab, aren't
Now these are, again, dye-based, water-based products, but these ones are made to mimic natural plant extracts.
Oh, okay, nice.
So I'm just going to get a little tiny bit of this one, which is the Poppy Parade. It's a really, really strong red. Now, I don't want him to have a red face, because that would equally look like he needed a medic. So I'm going to mix this with some of the tea dye, and then I'm going to use a lot of water to tone it down. Yeah. And then I can just put a little bit of a blush on top of this grey. So although it's still grey, it just gives a hint of pink.
It does, doesn't it?
So it doesn't look quite so sick. And then the tea dye I can use to do his hair. Yeah. So it's all quite subtle, because it's all got that grey undertone, but it's about adding light and shade into what you're painting. Yes. Now for his ruff here on his coat, I'm going to bring in another shimmer shaker. This one is Dusky Mink. Lovely. This is one of my favourites.
Is it?
It's just a gorgeous minky colour. Now these, again, I'm going to show you more with these later on, but you can use them as a paint, and you can use them to sprinkle on and then spritz to get a firework kind of effect. Yeah. So lots of ways to use these. Talk about them, as I say, a little bit more. Yeah. And this, I just want to add this to his fur collar on his beautiful coat. So you can see what I mean about the embossing, resisting what I'm painting, because it just
in the right spaces.
It just flirts off. So that's done. Fab. And then the last thing I want to do is the rim on this beautiful sundial, or whatever it is we decided it was.
Yeah, I think you're right. It looks like a sundial, doesn't it?
I don't know, it's more of a compass, is it?
Okay,
I
it's a
don't know.
compass.
It's scientific anyway.
Either
It's
or,
one of
whatever
them.
people want.
It's one of them. Right, so just a little bit of water creates a beautiful paint, and then I can turn this from that dull grey into a beautiful silver. Well, it's more like this one's actually called gunmetal, and that's what it's like. It's like a dark gunmetal. It's really beautiful.
Yeah.
Now these might stick to the embossing because they've got that mica in them. So don't worry, just paint over it, and then you can just wipe it off afterwards to reveal. Or you might like to leave it looking slightly distressed.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
Depends what you want, doesn't it?
Yeah, you could equally do this with the gold to create a brass effect, because I think probably more of these were brass than they were silver, but anyway. And then I'm just going to go into the centre where we've got all these lovely... and I don't need to worry about it. I just slap it on. And then if there is excess, I can just scoop it up with my brush to reveal those points again. So that's really easy, nothing complicated there. Anybody can do that. And that's basically our tag. I've also inked a little bit around the edge with some black soot distress. So using one of these, and I've just gone in and edged. So where this was white, I've been able to give it more of a grey.
Yeah.
Because leaving it white was a bit stark.
Yes. Just finished it off, doesn't it, really?
it just edges it and just gives it a bit more of a framework. Okay, so now... This is to create the background. So I've got one of the pieces of paper.
It's lovely.
Gosh, I always end up surrounded by so much stuff. Let's clear up. Right. So this is one of the papers, and this is from the back of it.
Okay.
So this was where I cut to make it fit the size I wanted.
Yep.
And I'm going to use that for my backdrop and that as a contrast. So that was the same piece of paper, but I want to stamp on this. So I'm going to bring in some of the stamps. Let's grab all these sets. And we'll start with this fantastic tripod here. So I just pop my stamp face down and pick it up on a block. And then I'm just going to stamp this with a black ink straight onto my piece of paper.
Okay.
Lots of tapping, remember, rather than lots of heavy pressing. We don't want that. It clogs up the stamp and then it prevents you from having a clean image. So that's going down on the bottom corner. Okay. Basically, you can do what you want. Make up your own background.
Nice though,
just have a play.
And especially the choice of stamps that you've actually got.
That's right. There's so many to choose from. It's fabulous. Now then, I'm going to go with this lovely script.
Yeah,
I do like a nice script. And let's grab this. And again, lots of tapping. And with something like this, it doesn't even matter if your stamp image isn't perfect because it's kind of random.
And I think as well, because that's a bit like how the paper pad is, it sort of works with that, doesn't it?
It's nice to have that little bit of distress effect in there.
Yeah.
So that's going in full, and then let me grab a piece of paper. I don't want to stamp on my mat, so protect it. I'm going to stamp a little bit of this text over here. And we can even pop a second generation and have a little bit down there. As I say, you can just play. It's up to you. And then I've got to use these splats. I'm sorry, but I just love these splats.
Yeah, I do. And I just feel like they're good for this collection, but for any collection.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. You can use these with anything. I mean, you've got 4 different ones there, so you can really change them up a bit.
Yeah.
So again, just wherever you fancy. I just love the effect these give. And it's not something you can achieve by hand.
No.
Even when I was doing the splattering with the gold before.
You'd never get a perfect splat, would you?
No, not unless I was on my face.
Imagine that. We'd be like, oh dear, that's not good, is it?
When splat. You don't even have to use the whole thing, just a little bit of it on one edge.
And that would look so different in different colours as well. You know, if you wanted to really brightly kind of...
I'll show you on the next card.
Yeah.
So that's basically my background. And again, I've already pre-inked around the edge with the black soot distress with the applicator because it does take a few minutes. So I've already done that. I'm sure it's something you've seen before. So let's have a look now at our card. So I'm going to use our fabulous Cosmic Shimmer Dries Clear Glue.
Lovely.
It does what it says on the bottle. It dries clear. It's a fabulous glue.
Yeah.
It has slight flexibility when it's dry.
Okay.
I don't like a glue which, when it's dried, leaves everything very rigid.
Yes, that makes sense.
And, you know, things buckle and move, and yeah, it's not attractive.
No.
So I prefer this glue. Is wonderful. I use it for everything. I just love it. And it's quite strong as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so I just like to glue across the corners, save it getting any ripples and bubbles. Okay, and then my tag, what have I done with it? I'll put it over here to dry.
Yeah.
So on my original one, I did actually put a stud in the top.
Yes.
You can use any sort of embellishment you've got. You might like to put some fibres or some ribbon or a button.
Yeah.
You might have something that really suits this theme. I just found one that looked like a sort of industrial
It looks nice.
metal steel rivet sort of thing, really fab. So just pop that onto the card at a jaunty angle.
It's worked so well.
Or you could lift that on foam pads, which is what I did on the original if you prefer. Oh, I forgot to put my border on. Oh, rubbish. There we go.
Squeeze that.
That's going under there.
Yeah.
Just to add a little bit of relief
lovely.
from that solid background.
Yeah.
So there you are.
It's gorgeous.
And there's
isn't it?
the original one with
Perfect.
that stud.
Wow, really, really lovely. And you can just see how you can really use all of these bits, of course, together as well, which is so great. Now, I'm just going to get you the individuals available for you that are in this big bundle, because here is the paper pad, which we've just seen, of course, Gwen using. Now, you are getting, of course, double sides here. So it's almost like we were saying, you know, it's 6 unique designs, but it's 12 different sides. So it's like 12 different designs, 4 sheets of each of those as well, for that brilliant price tag of £11.99. Very different to anything else that I've seen. Now, we also have that gorgeous large stamp set that Gwen's just used, you know, portions from as well in that demo. So this is your astrologist stamp set that we've got here. So much within this. I mean, you've got 17 stamps. You've got your logic will get you from A to B. Imaginary take you everywhere from Albert Einstein. You've got all about what astrology is, the kind of definition of it. You've got scriptures, you've got the images as well. And of course, straight down on that price for you. Instead of £14.99, we're going to take it to £12.99 today for you to be able to get this individually. We've then also got the splat that we call it the splat. It's actually called ink splatter, which is where you're getting that lovely stamp set that you can see there. You've got scriptures, you've got ink splatters as well, of course, it's included in this. Again, we'll do a little saving on that one for you as well if you want to get any of these individually. Another one that I think is absolutely brilliant is this one, which is your Cosmo tickets. We saw that super example earlier of how you could extend those tickets and really kind of give them the length that you want. You've got your voyage written on there. You've got lovely little notes like stay curious. You've also got your be amazed. So it's a really lovely little set there for £7.99. Then we've got your rubber stamp. So this is your astrology table. So if you want something to create like a big background, then that would be a fabulous one, of course, to be able to get that we can see there. Rubber stamp still going down to £7.99. Plus we've got that fabulous image of the Mr. Forteller that we can see here, which has, you know, the compass or the sundial, whatever you kind of want to think of that, the 1827, all of that grid in the background, £7.99. And then finally, we've got Mr. Stargazer that we can see here, which just feels magical, doesn't it? It feels historical, timeless as well. Again, going down on that price point. But of course, they're all there individually, but the best way to get them is as part of the bundle where we do the biggest saving, of course. So you can see all of that laid out beautifully there, which works so well together. And it does mean that the bundle comes in at the most brilliant price if you want to go and get all of it, of course, where we have taken that down to £59.99, and it's available, of course, on split payment opportunities. Now, a few other bits that I want to mention as well, which Gwen has used, is the airless misters, okay? So here's your airless misters. We have got these in 2 different sets for you to be able to get these. So this is set 1 that I've got here. And I can show you just with these as well, the colours that they actually come out as. So there's your honeybee that you can see. It's that gorgeous yellow that we've seen used. You've got your pine green as well. And then on top of that, you've got your poppy parade, which we saw being used. And they're just fabulous, wasn't it?
They
are. Really great to use, I think.
Yeah, and as I say, they don't have a pipe in them, a tube in them. So they never... what happens is the bottom of the bottle moves up as you use the liquid. So it's always under vacuum.
You're not losing any of it as well.
Yes, you don't lose any of it.
Brilliant.
You can even spray these upside down.
Okay.
And they're still going to work.
And they'll still come out. Fab.
Yes.
We've got the second set as well. Now, that was the blue that you used, of course, on that card. That
Yes, the Maya blue.
Really gorgeous, didn't we?
Yeah.
So these are the three colours that we've got in this set, which is your Maya blue, which is probably my favourite colour of all. You've also got your Night Reflection, and then you've got your Blackberry Bliss as part of this collection. So two different collections, all about which colours you would like to go for. The other thing we had was the Cosmic Shimmer Shakers. So if I come to set A for you first, then we've got these three that you can see that are, of course, available with these. We are going to take those down, so all three of them, to £9.99 for you to be able to get those fabulous, fabulous colours. And I think it's the effect that you got once again when you used them that we saw, which was absolutely...
Yeah, they're really beautiful.
Really brilliant, wasn't it? And then a second set, so we'll come to set B as well, because it really depends in terms of the colours that you would like to go for, really, to be honest with you. We've got those three colours that we can see here, where we will, of course, be matching that price point for you. So you're there at £9.99. And the one other thing that we've got is your botanical stains. Now, the botanical stains, we'll come to set one first. I've not really seen... I don't think the botanical stains before. No, I feel like that was maybe the first time.
Lovely. There's quite a lot of them. I've only got 6 for you today.
Yeah.
But they, as I say, they are designed to mimic natural dyes from plants and other natural products.
Yeah.
So your tea leaves is obviously going to mimic your tea leaves.
Yeah.
So if you like to tea dye paper, perfect colour, absolutely perfect. And then you've got things like sandalwood, which is a resin that comes out of a tree.
Yeah.
And that's got this beautiful orange colour. You've got lupin teal. Now,
Yeah.
I never knew you could get a colour like that out of a lupin, but it's absolutely stunning.
And when you look at these, which you've done, the difference of the colours that have actually come out, so with that lupin teal, like you're saying.
And I've done these by dipping and dabbing off my craft
Brilliant.
mat, just to get that lovely speckled effect.
There's your sandalwood and your Italian plum, so
I
that's
love that.
That's it. I mean, they're lovely colours.
And they've got this fabulous dropper system.
Yeah, so it makes it very easy to actually
clean
use,
to
doesn't
use.
it?
Yes, if you have any left in a well of a palette, you can suck it back up, put it back in a bottle, so you don't waste it. Really good.
Yeah. Here's the other set that we've got as well, which is these colours that we can see. So that's your carrot top green that you can see. We've also got your tea leaves, very used. I think that one would be to kind of make everything a bit more vintage. And then blueberry as well. So all three of those there at £11.99. The other thing just to really quickly re-mention, because loads of these have gone, we have sold over half the stock of these that we kicked off the show with, of course. And that is the opportunity, of course, to be able to get your ATC holders. They're half price today. We've got 2 of your coin holders. We've got 2 of your squares as well, so 4 coming to you. The finished sample is absolutely gorgeous because this is what you could create with them. We're actually down to the teens now, so we've got less than 20 chances now to be able to get that. So if you want them, you've got to be super, super quick. Now, back to the main collection, of course, because that is where you're getting your biggest saving, where you're getting all of those amazing stamp sets. You're getting the paper pad as well. It should be £71.93, but it's down to £59.99. Should we do a second demo?
Let's.
Yeah.
So I'm going to show you this one this time. And you saw earlier I started to create a bit of the background from my previous inking forays. I did a little bit more to that and created a background which had a few more splats on it and then some of the gold as well. And you can see how the gold has just kind of settled into little patches. Really beautiful. And I did that by pressing off my acrylic block and using it as a printing tool, if you like. So that was my background. Now, I said I would show you how to use the splat with the sprays. So what I chose to do was use one of the airless misters. Now, I'm going to tone it down because when I first did this, it was actually a little bit too strong.
Okay.
So I'm going to use... I'll stick with the night sky for this one.
Yeah.
So I'm going to spritz a little bit of that onto my mat, and all you need to do then is dabble your stamp in the ink, dabble it onto a clean patch just to get rid of any huge puddles, and then stamp.
Just put it on, okay. Yeah.
So, and you can just do this randomly wherever you want onto your panel.
Yeah.
Let's have a little bit coming off the edge. That's always a nice thing to do. Try not to be too sort of regimented when you do this type of thing. Try to go off the edge and keep it quite neutral.
And if you want that colour, it's in set 2, which we've got on the screen at the moment as well.
And then just clean off your stamp. You can rinse that under the tap.
Yeah.
Because they're water-based, it will just come straight off.
Brilliant. Makes it nice and easy.
So, yes. So I'm just going to dry that with my heat gun.
Okay.
Because I want to be able to ink on top of that now.
Yes,
so
yeah.
Just give that a quick dry.
Yeah, lovely.
And when your cardstock has had ink thrown at it like this and water and all that, it is going to start to bow. But don't worry, because it's quite malleable, and it stretches, the fibres in it stretch, so you can stretch them back. Okay. You can curl it back into shape. So don't worry. And sometimes just turning it over and heating it will make it go
kind of straightens
flat.
it up, doesn't it?
Yeah. So don't panic if that happens. It's really not the end of the world.
No, exactly.
And then you can, just give it a little bit of encouragement. Come on, love, you can do it.
Especially when you talk to it. I mean, it helps even more, right?
Right, so now I want to add some stain to this to give it a bit more colour. So I'm going to go to my tea dye, and I'm going to put some of this into my palette. Not too much, couple of squeezes from the pipette. And I'm going to use a foam applicator. Okay. I'm always working on a bit of paper just to save me having to keep cleaning up. But you can just wipe your mat up. It's not that big of a deal. Again, just pick up that botanical stain in the foam applicator and then take a little bit of the excess off. You can see it's very, very wet. Yeah. And then just blend it over the piece of paper. This is going to make it all toned down. Slightly more vintage. Pick up a little bit more.
Nice.
And I can even pop in a little bit of a pink tone if I want to. You can mix these products right across them all because they're all water-based.
Which then I suppose you can make any colours that you want.
Exactly. Really, they're all dye-based, so, there are no limits, really. Look, I've got a nice pinky tone. Really nice. I always think of planets as having that red... Yeah. I don't know what... Is it Saturn that's got the red rings?
Yeah. And then Mars, obviously, you think of as red, don't you?
That's right. So it's nice to have something that's remotely scientific. Yeah. Fooled you then. Okay, again, I want to dry that before I can go any further. So let's give that. And you can see I'm not being particular, just slap it on. It's so forgiving, honestly. And if you're not confident with colour and blending, it doesn't matter.
No, exactly.
So let's, again, dry a little bit from the back as well. Yeah. It's always better if you can leave things to dry naturally, but obviously under these circumstances that's slightly not possible. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Let's give that a bit more encouragement.
It's like, there you go.
Come on, you can do it. Right. Okay, so let's do some stamping. Okay. All right, so I want to use this amazing thing. Yeah, I love planetarium, I think they call them, don't they? Is that what they call them?
I went to the Space Centre actually not long ago, down in Leicester, It's really good, isn't it?
I don't know, I've never been, is it?
It's brilliant.
I love stuff like that, but I do love science.
Yeah, honestly, I find it fascinating.
Yeah. It's so, alien, isn't it, to us, I guess?
Yeah. Dan's just said he got around half of it in a day. I'm imagining he didn't go with a child. We literally ran around each floor. It was like, zoom, zoom, zoom. And it was only really the bottom floor we spent a lot of time in because it's very hands-on, down there. Which is, and obviously in the planetarium, that was great as well. But not really wanting to read everything.
No. So I'm going to heat emboss this because I want to be able to paint these tiny little planets.
Super, yeah.
And so by heat embossing, it's going to give me that little wall which will just contain the liquid when I come to paint them.
Just so people know as well, because I'm conscious of time, that we have got the embossing powders on the show. So we have got 3 colours that will come all together as well. So you've got your clear, your bright gold and your black as well. So if you would like all 3 of those, you can see the gorgeous colours that they can do. They're $11.99 for all of them. And they just finish off everything just perfectly, don't they?
Well, it's just a unique effect.
Yeah, definitely. I think it just kind of almost makes it pop out.
It does. It really does. It really accents the image and gives it a bit more oomph, like you say. But I'm embossing this one because, A, I want it to stand off from the background a bit more, and B, I want to be able to paint those little planets, and some of them are tiny. So trying to get a watercolour to stay put,
it's hard.
Having that little wall is an absolute boon.
And obviously, I'm looking at your finished sample. I'm seeing the difference of the black emboss to the gold emboss.
Yes,
and actually what it,
the contrast
what it brings, which is lovely as well.
Sorry, I just
no, I don't mind. You know, I don't mind. That's fine.
Slave. All right, so Just all you need is a little brush, and then you can paint these planets whatever colour you like. So I'll just do one.
Is that from the Airless Mister, that blue as well?
It was. I've got the colours now in my palette. I can just keep going to those.
The first set, yeah.
Yeah. And then the other things I've done, I've taken from this set, this fantastic planet.
Yeah, I love that one.
And stamped that here. But I want to show you this slide mount because I think this is fabulous.
Yeah.
This is one of Sam's dies.
Okay.
She's done dies for us as well at Creative Expressions. And this, I absolutely adore this because it's like an old-fashioned slide mount. Some of you might not even know what that is.
Okay. Yeah.
Back in the day when you used to get a reel of film to put in your camera, and then you'd have them developed into slides, which were like a negative of the image.
Okay.
And they'd go into a little case, which this will make, and then you'd look at it through a projector, and it would project it onto a screen.
Cool, isn't it? A lot of people have actually gone back, to sort of that, haven't they?
Well, there are people who,
things like that
because the results are so good.
Yes.
There are people who still use that type of camera and that type of film.
Yeah.
I'm just going to get my die cutting machine
Okay.
out.
We've got this available for you, so you can see it comes, of course, like this. Your vintage slides, you've got 2 dies that it comes with, and you're going to be able to see, obviously, Gwen using this. Brilliant price, I have to say, for the effect it creates as well, at £12.50.
It really is.
To be able to get this.
Oops. And, yes, you can use it to pop photographs in.
Yeah, it'd be a really
if you
nice
like
idea,
scrapbooking, it's just a fantastic embellishment to a scrapbook page. You could create the films, because you get the little negative bit as well, which I'll show you in a sec. You could make a whole string of them, which is how they used to come. They used to come on a string.
Quite nice, like at either a baby shower or a wedding or an engagement party, whatever, to kind of string them up kind of along the walls, having put pictures in them as well.
Absolutely,
to decorate.
wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah,
that would be great. So this is the inner bit of the film, and now you could do this on acetate, and then you could colour it with alcohol inks, and so like a brown vintage colour.
Idea, wouldn't it?
So that would really look like the negatives that used to be created.
Yeah,
all right.
Put out perfectly. Look.
So that's what you get. You'd also get this little panel, which is great for stamping something else on, like a little verse or something like that.
Yeah. Keep going.
And then the little wallet. You simply fold that in half.
Okay.
And if you want to, you can pop that inside.
Yeah.
But you could have it sort of popping out, like it's just been put in there, or you could use it separately.
It's like a cinema kind of reel then, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, that's
films,
the kind of
example,
effect, yeah. So I just need to press that down.
Okay.
And what I want to do is stamp on this to go inside there.
Okay.
So I'm going to go back to my stamp sets. How are we doing time? Oh, my goodness.
About 5 minutes left.
Oh, where did that go?
It just disappears, doesn't it? We were saying that on the first hour as well. You're like, oh, wow, that's time.
Wow. All right, so I'm going to stamp. I'm going to use my black ink pad because I'm going to use gold embossing powder. And as I said before, it doesn't matter what colour embossing powder you're using.
No, exactly.
So I'm going to stamp part of this onto that little tag. Just grab some paper.
Yep.
Use my inky bit, won't matter. All right, so this will fit really perfectly in that little window.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
And then I've also stamped one of those little quotes on the front of the pocket as well.
Okay.
So you can see, although that's black ink, when I put the powder on, and then when I melt the powder,
it's not anymore.
it will stay gold.
Yeah.
So, might need my tweezers for this bit. It's a bit hot. So the gold powder is really quite deceptive because when you first put it on, it looks a bit dull and uninteresting.
Yeah.
But then when it melts, it becomes this beautiful metallic gold.
The colour
really
comes in,
stunning. So I'm just going to go from underneath. Hopefully, you'll be able to see it a bit better. There we go.
Yeah, there we go. You can see it transforming, can't you?
Eek. Hotness. Turn the gun away from your fingers if it's starting to hurt.
Yeah, please don't burn yourself properly.
Or get some tweezers.
Yeah.
I have got asbestos fingers. So you can see how effective that is. And then when we pop that into that little window, it's perfect, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then, like I say, I've stamped a verse, and then I've also stamped from the ticket set these 3 little ones, Wonder, Journey and Voyage, and I've cut them up separately.
Yeah, really nice.
And then yeah, that's it really.
Finish, isn't it?
So I've got my background, I did a bit more stamping, put that on there, that in there, and I did the same thing with my tea dye to antique the slide mount. Yeah. And then just randomly pop these on.
Gorgeous.
So,
and then you can see the finished sample
there
just there as well that looks absolutely beautiful. It really does. Because we've got something that really is very, very different to that first sample that we did as well. And absolutely magical and probably so different to anything else that you have created. So it's a really fabulous look. So just to remind you, that's the die set that, of course, we've just managed to create that kind of finished look that we can see just there with as well. So if you want that has been reduced down to a fabulous price of £12.50. There's one other die set that is available as well on the show, which is your shabby, your tattered tags, I should say there, that you've got here, which is a really, really lovely opportunity, of course, to be able to create your tags. You can see how many you're actually getting within that, and then you've got all of the other kind of little circles to kind of finish that off as well, and to be able to create these looks. That, again, is £12.50 for you to be able to get this. Now, the bundle is the most popular way to go for this, with you getting the extra saving. That includes, of course, the Mr. Stargazer. It also has your Mr. Forteller that we can see here. We've got your astrology table. We also have the opportunity for your Cosmo tickets that has multiple tickets that are there. We've got your ink splatter also. On top of that, there is the astrologist, which is an absolutely massive stamp set that is completely jam-packed with big images and lovely phrases. And then it comes as well with that fabulous paper pad. Again, if you want any of them individually, you can do, but $59.99 is the price tag for all of it. Just want to squeeze in a few more of our samples as well, because we've got some gorgeous samples that we can see here. The way that you can use all of this together and really sort of build up these looks that we are seeing as well. That's from the astrologist, created by Sample, that one at the front. Lovely how you can create things like this as well, with all your tickets kind of placed into it. Beautiful there from Emma with the Dare to Dream, lovely bright kind of look that we've got as well. So, you know, so much. You know, do you want to create your envelopes? Do you want to create, you know, postcards? Are you thinking, well, actually, I'd like to do something like this that is decor? I mean, that's spectacular to pop that into.
Down though.
Sorry, thank you. But to pop that into, you know, a bedroom or something like that.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Loves it. So there is so much that you can, of course, create from this, which is absolutely magical. Now, you're back tomorrow.
I am back.
Yes, lovely.
At 3, I think.
Great, so we're able to look at more of this collection today?
More of this.
Yeah,
and then at 5, I've got some 3D embossing folders and companion stencils.
Oh, lovely. Okie. So do make sure that you tune in for those shows, of course, tomorrow. Make sure you're checking out on all of these bits. Of course, you can watch back the demos if when you get these bits you want to craft along with them as well. Gwen's back tomorrow. I'll be back in a moment with Natalie from Hunky Dory. We've got some gorgeous bits that were launched a bit earlier on today. Very popular. Can't wait to share them with you.
Join Carnation on Friday and escape into your own world of homegrown delights. For anyone that loves to enjoy the beauty of plants and likes to dabble in a spot of gardening, to those that hone the mighty skill of growing their own fresh produce. The Botanical Bliss collection features a show-stopping greenhouse with the option of creating volume to build a beautiful sanctuary for as many plants as you can dream of. Along with some fun-filled characters, this collection can be used to make beautiful, wholesome cards for children and adults alike. Don't miss this brand new launch from Carnation Crafts.
Hi, my name's Phil Martin and Sentimentally Yours is my award-winning craft brand. Sentimentally Yours has been around since 2014. I've been a crafter actually much longer than that. So I've been crafting for well over 20 years. Card making, scrapbooking I've dabbled in as well. And it got to the point where my friends, my family were asking me to make cards, do invitations and things like that. And it very quickly became the start of a business. Sentimentally Yours was actually born because I found it difficult to find products, specific products. Sentiments were what we were lacking. So people were phoning me up saying, can you get me a sentiment with this on, with that on? And I just couldn't. So I designed my own. I've heard lots of good things about HobbyMaker and their progression and how they've developed. It was the right time for Sentimentally Yours to be involved in something new and exciting. And hopefully I can contribute to that as well and bring something different to the HobbyMaker brand and the family. I probably will. But that's a good thing, and I'm really excited about joining in the evolution of HobbyMaker. I can guarantee that my shows are going to be fun, because fun is what crafting should be. I want that whole process to be fun and informative and educational. And I think if I can achieve those three things during the time that my shows are live, I'm winning.
HobbyMaker is on the hunt for the Card Maker of the Year. Are you ready for the challenge? We are giving you full creative control. Create your cards in any design for any occasion using any technique. Just make sure to use at least one item purchased from HobbyMaker. We will select 10 winners with the following prizes. First place gets £100 credit plus a HobbyMaker goodie bag. Second to fifth place gets £50 credit to their HobbyMaker account. And 6th to 10th place gets £25 credit to their HobbyMaker account. To enter, simply send us your handmade card along with an envelope. Card Maker of the Year competition, HobbyMaker Unit 2D, Eagle Road, Moonsmote, Redditch, Worcestershire. B989HF. Please include a note with your name, email address and phone number. Do not write on the back of your card. Entries must be received by Monday the 23rd of September 2024. Winners and runners-up will be notified on the 30th of September 2024 and announced live on air. All cards will be donated to our chosen charity once the winners have been notified. Good luck! Hello, we've just had Alex like across the studio because he was about to have a little kind of dance in front of the camera or something, I think. Lovely to see you, of course.
To see you too.
Thank you. Now, I know that this was launched obviously earlier this morning.
Yes, it was so
been incredibly popular. I'm not surprised though at all because these sentiments that we're getting are so usable, but also they're so gorgeous. The dies
really,
that we've got.
really nice. It's a beautiful typography that has been used on them. They're very cleverly put together because there's lots that we can do with dies like this. Because you do have obviously the sentiment, but then you've got sort of like 4 mats and layers or 4 shaped nesting dies if you would like. So we can create frames from these, we can create apertures from these, we can like partially cut them into things as well to create some really cool effects. And we had a sellout earlier on.
Yes, so this on its own individually completely sold out. We've managed to restock it.
We have, yeah.
Even since we restocked it, we are looking at a quarter of that stock having gone now as well. So we don't have, I will be honest with you, many of these left already. No. So if you do want to jump in and you're wanting to get this individually, then this is a brilliant opportunity for you to do that. £14.99 as well.
Such a good price.
And happy birthday, best wishes. I mean,
they're
very
essential
useful.
dies.
Yeah,
really, really essential. I mean, all 6 of them are dies that you are going to have
without a doubt.
in your stash. You're going to be taking them to your craft fair so you can personalise things. These are sentiments, but these are really, really big sentiments. So these can be like focuses on your cards. 100%. You don't need to necessarily be bringing these in to use with other things. We absolutely can do, but they are standalone sentiments that are going to work by themselves.
You could do nothing else if you didn't want to.
Nope.
And I like, obviously, when we turn to the side, that you can see those layers that we've got there.
Great, isn't it?
But you could just use one layer if you wanted to. You could have them flat. It's totally up to you, but the shadow effect is fabulous.
The way that we've created them as well is that they're quite thin mats and layers.
Yes,
which means if you take one of them out, it makes your mat and layer thicker, or if you want to use them all, you absolutely can do.
Yeah, which is superb. So that's the first set that we've got. We've then got your Thinking of You and your Get Well Soon. Now, I do think as well to have these in your collections because often it's quite difficult to sort of know what to do with cards like this. So it's good to have them there.
It's nice to be able to have them to like cover those sort of themes, that we have. So again, really beautiful script font that's been chosen here, and I like the mix of like the script and then like the really bold font as well. But they are really, really nice.
Really good sizes once again, aren't they? There, and again, £14.99 if you want them individually. We have got a bundle, so if you want them all, that's where you get the best saving. But I just wanted to show them individually so you know exactly what you're getting. Now you've got this one as good as well, which is your Good Luck and your Thank You. So kind of really touching on totally different things.
Every single set that we brought to you are completely different themes, but also like a really nice essential set as a 6. So you know that if you had these in your stash, you would definitely have a sentiment to use for the types of cards.
Yeah, everything really, wouldn't you, to be honest? So you've got those ones. Now, they're $14.99 individually, which is brilliant, but let me show you the bundle deal that we have, because, of course, as you would expect, this is the most popular way to buy them, because this means that you can get all of them, OK? Should be £44.97. You're never going to do that at Hunky Dory.
No,
Instead,
no.
it's lovely.
You know us by now. There's a bundle. We're going to give you a great saving.
Exactly. So we are taking that down there. That is £36.97 if you want to go for them all. So that gives you your happy birthday, your best wishes, your thinking of you, your get well soon, your good luck and your thank you. Over a third of this stock has already gone. It's been allocated on today's show. But luckily, because it's brand new today, we had a big stock allowance.
We had a huge stock because these were actually sort of... we designed these off the back of our Christmas ones that we did.
Okay.
And our Christmas ones sold out like 3 times in one day. And then we brought them back in the next show, and then they sold out. And then we brought them back, and then they sold out. So it was one of our like best-selling dies, and we thought we have to do an everyday collection of these. And as crafters at Hunky Dory as well, we were really missing really big dies that we could use on the fronts of our cards. You know, you could use them with anything, whether it was a paper pad, a topper collection, adorable, scoreable, dies, stamps. You had a huge die that was really going to be the main focus for your cards.
Which is what you can see here. I mean, they're just stunning. You can see to kind of get that right in the middle as that statement piece that we've got, your best wishes. And it's all about, you know, what do you want to use them with? Do you want to use them with acetate? Do you want plain paper? Do you want detailed paper, detailed cardstock? You know, it's going to work with everything,
Everything that you have, these are going to be perfect to use. And you can really mix and match the types of card and paper that you use to fussy cut these out of. You can use parchment, you can use mirror, you could use our shimmer card that we had on earlier as well. There's so many different ways and items that these are going to work with.
And the fact as well that they're all different sizes of cards, because that's the other thing I like, is that you could do a really large card, you could do a smaller card, and just have this if you wanted to as well.
But there's such a great variety of like cards here that showcase so many different things that we do at Hunky Dory and how you could really use these and maximise them in your card making.
And you don't have to use the shadows if you don't want to. You could do something like that if you wanted to.
The words singularly on their own.
Really nice as well, this little box that we're
box.
seeing
It's
just
so
here.
cute,
Because look
isn't
at that, just to pop that on there, and then you put whatever presents you want to on. Did you want to get ready with the demo
let's
so
do
that
it.
we can have a look at exactly how to use these? So many gorgeous samples that, of course, I've got to show you. So I'll keep showing you the samples throughout the shows. But, you know, this is, I think you always want to see them run through, and you want to see, obviously, what Natalie's inspiration is as well.
So we're going to start with the good look, and we're going to do sort of like 2 different techniques here. So I'm going to use the word to create like a faux embossing effect with the text. And then we're also going to use all of the layers. So if you wanted a really cool, nice statement card, then this is definitely perfect for you. And I'm going to go in with different coloured cardstock from my different colour block pads. So I've got some from my Brights, and then this one is from my, I think it's my Frosted Christmas, and then this is from the pastels, so you can see how you can really mix them up. I've gone with all my greens, obviously, because I think greens and like good look really cards are like a match made in heaven, aren't they? Yeah. And then I'm just going to lie these on my papers from the darkest to the lightest, and we're going to cut out all of those dies there. So let me grab my tape so we don't have any movement, and then we're going to run this through. So let's just pop it on there, just so it doesn't pop out of place. Yeah. And then, of course, we also want to cut out that good look as well. So let me grab my card to be able to do that. And popped it down here. There we go. So we're going to cut that one out. I'll just trim this down to size. Yeah. And then we'll run everything through at once. Now for your, to be able to create the background that we're going to use on this card, you want to run that good look through a number of times. I think I've done it about 6 or 7, just to be able to have enough on there. Yeah. So then I'm going to stick all of that down, run it through my die cutting machine. Brilliant.
We've got the low tack tape there available as well if you want to get that, because it's something that's great to use.
It's super essential with your dies, and I always say, like, make sure, no matter what size cards that you've got, or, you know, just stick it down.
Yeah. And also, it's actually really pretty, your low tack tape, so you can use it for border strips and everything. So you can use it for, like, actually decorating things, you know. You've got one of the designs that says hunky-dory the whole way across, so you could be personalising anything that you've got, really, to be hunky-dory. Definitely.
So let's grab these bits and pieces now. I'm going to pop out all of these elements from my cards.
Okay.
Oh, that's another one, and then I need my good luck as well. So we'll just use our pokey tool just to release that from there. And then the little bit on the end is going to help me get all of my wording out. So I'm going to build this up, and I'm going to use my tape runner to do that. I'm just going to grab this spare sheet for running this across. So your dotty tape runner is really, really good for using with dies like this, because it allows you to sort of get the tape on the word, but it's not going to stick anywhere else. So let's build this up, and I'm just going to build it flat. So I'm not going to use any foam pads just yet. And then we're just going to go from sort of lightest to darkest with our green colours. So let's go in with this, and I think the mixture of tones that I've used in here as well is really nice, and it's going to bring a really nice look to the card. So that is your third layer, and then we're going to go in with the fourth layer as well. So let's pop that on there, and then what we're going to do is I've got lots and lots of good looks here that I'm actually going to use to create a really fun background for my main image to sit down on. So I'm just going to use that dotty tape runner again, just to pop onto here, and then I'm just going to do it quite, not in any sort of like direction. I don't want to tile the pattern. I'm just going to sort of lay them in really sort of fun ways. And you might not need to use all of the ones that you've cut out. You might find that you can trim some off or hang them off the edge and then remove them and bring those pieces back in. So let's keep going like this. Oops. Stretch that one out there.
Be all right.
You always find that once you've got that first bit of tape on, it doesn't move half as much as it was doing before. So there is another one, and we'll stick the last one on here. And then what I can do is I can cut that look off the bottom and bring that in across the top as well. So just going to add that last one up there, and then I can trim off this piece, just making sure it's stuck down properly. And then let's just trim off around the sides. And it's really easy to do this now you've used your dotty tape runner to stick it down.
Yes, definitely.
And if you want to make sure that like you've got like good adhesive on the backing as well, you can always, let's stick this one up there. You can always then just sort of like turn it down onto a flat surface and use like your tool from your scoreboard, or you could use your other burnishing tool just to press that down onto the back, and you'll see that that's really stuck down now and isn't going to sort of move anywhere. So let's pop this onto our card. I've got another piece of that dark green cardstock which I'm going to layer onto here. So I'm going to do that with my tape runner. So let's add that straight on there. And then we're going to stick this onto our card blank. And again, I'm going to do that with my tape runner. And then we're going to stick that sentiment really nice and central. So this is a little A6 card. So you could be making really big cards like you've seen some examples of. But you can use these cards to make sort of smaller little cards as well.
Very popular,
so
these
they
are at the minute as well.
Really, really good for using on so many different sort of sizes of cards. Even though they're really big sentiments,
Yeah.
You know, you can make really sort of big cards with them, and then you can see that background as well.
I really like that, and the white on white, I'm quite a fan of as well.
It's really nice, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
It's super, super clever.
And you can see the size, of course, of that, like Nat said, that central sentiment that you've got there. But I think the fact that you get those sentiments, then you get the 4 matte layers as well, where you can use all 4 of them, or you can use 1 or none. It's totally up to you. But this is covering such an array of occasions, isn't it? Because you've got in your first one, of course, your best wishes and your happy birthday that you can see here. All of these are $14.99 if you want them individually. It is while stocks last, because this one obviously did sell out earlier. We've restocked it, but we've only got the sort of final chances if you do want to get it, of course, individually at $14.99. 26, that's all we've got left now. So, and it's been restocked, so that is your opportunity to get that on its own. It also comes with your Get Well Soon and your Thinking of You, that you can see just there as well. So that is your next 2 sentiments that you've got, which again, lovely to be able to see that kind of layering effect with those mats. And you've got your Good Look and your Thank You. So that is the one that Nat's just used just there for the Good Look, which you saw just made such card that we're seeing. But of course, the best way to go for them is when you go for all of them together. That is where you are getting the discount, which is what most of you, of course, are going for as well, which is what I would be doing, because then you are just really ready for so many, of course, different occasions to be able to get this. Lots of other samples as well that I'd love to be able to share with you. So you can see this beautiful happy birthday that we can see there. You've also got a lovely opportunity with your Get Well Soon, where you can really see those mats being used with the different colours as well, if you wanted to do that. This is cool. This is very cool, isn't it? Look at that just there.
Adding it on a bit of acetate just to make it wobble. I think that would look so cool. You could add like a little tassel on it and it could be a little graduation card.
Yeah, it's fab, isn't it? And then another really nice one that we can see just there as well.
I love this. So it's using it as like a stopper for your card.
It's clever, isn't it?
It's really clever.
Cool scene that's kind of created, isn't it, with that one?
It's really nice, that one.
Yeah, and then that, I mean, Thinking of You as well, and it just right, isn't it, with that font, I think, that you've actually got there to finish that.
We created that one in the first show, so if you want to watch how we made that, you can
perfect.
Tune in to see that.
Really nice. So loads of you with this in your basket. So remember, it's brand new today. Luckily, we have a big stock, because often the sort of stocks that we bring in with Moonstone dies, if that had have happened, you'd have sold all of them out in the first show. So we've got that stock, knowing how popular these always are, so you have got the chance to get it. Now, we do have another die set multi-buy that I do want to mention, which is to create your flowers and your dimensional flowers. I don't think this has been on
for such a long time either, this
no.
collection. But it's 3 flowers that we've got for you, and they're beautiful. So you get the different sizes of sort of like blooms, but you could be cutting these from paper, you could be cutting these from your like parchment or like tissue. You could be using flower foam to make bouquets from. But you do get the different sizes. They look absolutely fantastic, and then you just literally cut them all out, lay them all on top of each other in like size order.
Easy to do, isn't it?
They are really easy, but so effective to add to your cards as well.
Mould them.
And I think for when you're making cards like this that are sort of like general occasions, flowers are perfect.
Definitely, and we know that flowers, of course, are the most popular, probably, that and butterflies to be able to use on cards as well. So you've got your rose that can be created there. You can see kind of how they'll look finished. We also have your peony that is available there as well.
Really nice made up.
Stunning, isn't it? And you know, like, you would almost be thinking, I can't create something like this, but these dies make it possible, don't they?
You can, yeah. I think if you're wanting that sort of really nice sort of like flowy feel as well, get your score tool out or get your burnishing tool out and just use that to sort of shape the edges of those petals as well. But the die has been designed to do all that detail work for you, so you just need to put it together.
And then your gerbera as
this
well.
This is really different.
Feels very modern,
so nice. It does, doesn't it? This is sort of like a newer flower than the old ones. The old ones are really traditional flowers that you see in cards a lot.
Definitely.
This one's very, very different.
It is. It looks lovely kind of on that sample there with the 3 different colours that you can do as well.
Yeah, it's really nice. Quite pop-arty with the bright colours.
Yeah, definitely. And the foliage, of course, that comes with it as well. So they're all there individually at £11.99. But again, we'd like to give you them as a bundle deal. So if you are looking and wanting to kind of be able to create your flowers but do it in such an easy way that these dies will enable you to do, then you could today, of course, get it at a fantastic discount price, where you've got your peony, you've got your rose, you've also got your gerbera that is there as well. So there is there really is a kind of mix of flowers. And the thing is, you could use just the one type of flower, or you could create kind of whole bouquets.
I was just thinking about that. Like, you could make like a full bouquet. You could like 3D make it into like a vase. If you're thinking about ways in which you can save a lot of money for like a wedding or a birthday celebration, you could be making those like paper flowers, and you could be just having like table vases of paper flowers. You could use them to make garlands from as well. There's loads of really cool ways, even like headdresses or like popping them on headbands as well, because you know they're going to last.
Exactly, and
it's not going to be like flowers that are going to cost you hundreds of pounds and then they're going to go. Like, these are going to last.
Yeah, exactly. £35.97, that is the price point that we should be at, of course, with these, but not the price point that we are going to do today. So if you want to get all of them, you can actually get them for under £30, so taking them down to £9.99 each. And I think once you start using these, they're going to be some of your most used, you know,
some of your most favourite sort of flowers to add to your cards. And they always say, if you make a little mistake in craft, pop a little butterfly or a flower over it. Having these in your stash could be quite helpful sometimes.
Definitely, without a doubt. Now, in the earlier demo, you did use the colour blocks as well.
I did.
And I was thinking, not only are they great to go with the sentiment dies, but they would be fantastic for these dies as well, wouldn't
because
they?
they're a bit more flexible. You're going to be able to mould those flowers really, really nicely.
Which would be lovely. Now, we've got a multi-buy deal on today, which I know whenever we get to bring something like this, it's very popular. If you just want one of these, you can at £7.99. But if you want to go for two, you'll get them. I always find this such a funny price, £9.91. So it's where we're literally taking it down to the very lowest, which makes them £4.46 each.
Yes.
So good. So you're basically looking at under £5.
Under £5 for one pad. You're getting 48 sheets of the colours in here.
Brilliant, isn't it?
And our colour blocks are really, really good, because what they give you is like a rainbow of different like tones and shades of colour that work together. So
nicer than the matte and the silk, I always think.
Yeah, I love the fact we've got both options, because, you know, a lot of people are either a crafter who loves crafting in matte-tastic or a crafter who likes that satin finish. So there's so much you can do with like the matte-tastic cardstock too, with sort of like inking onto it, using your colours straight on there. But I absolutely love the neutrals.
That's your neutrals in your matte that we can see. I'll just give you a flick through a few of these. We've got your Frosted Christmas as well. That one's in your matte.
So you can see that all these shades are really going to work together nicely.
In fact, the Frosted Christmas is very limited, both in the matte and in the silk as well.
I love the sort of deeper teal tones that you've got, and those sort of moodier, duskier tones with like the mauve and the sagey green that you've got. Definitely. It's really gorgeous.
If we come across to Classic Christmas, where we've got this actually in the silk as well, you can see what we mean about the difference to the silk compared to what you see, of course, in the matte. You can tell this has been a favourite. It's been very well used. My friend's kind of come off. You do get 48 pages in each of these as well, and there's 12 different colours in each of them with 4 of each. So it's a really lovely mix of colours.
It is. It's a great mix of colours. And you don't always use like a full sheet of this either. No. I've got pads where I've just like trimmed out a bit or cut away what I need from the colours. So they do go really, really far. You'll find that you've got favourite colours that you get time and time again.
The Brights is always one of our best sellers.
Yeah,
isn't it?
I love the Brights colour. They're just so happy, and they're so vibrant, the colours.
And all year round as well, I think, as well, you know, that you'd be using this for as well. You know, like you say, real kind of happiness that is right there. We've also got your vintage in your silk that I can give you a quick flick through, because I always think it's nice to be able to see what you're actually getting, to be able to make your choice with which
the vintage one's perfect for sort of like this time of year. Now we're moving into sort of like those cosier times, then this one is perfect for all of those autumnal crafting.
Isn't it? One of my favourites actually is my pastels. We've got
the pastels and the Brights are probably the ones I use the most.
Are they? Yeah, I'm not surprised by that, because they're very different to each other, but they're kind of ticking all those different occasions.
And I think it's just the variety of colours that you've got. You've got those really nice, like, soft colours in here, but they're still quite vibrant at the same time.
Yeah. Absolutely. So you can see that is absolutely stunning, isn't it? And that one's there at £7.99.
It's so handy to sort of have your colour block pads because there's lots of different tones and shades of colour that you'll find in your colour block pads that you won't necessarily find in other things like your Matastic selection or your Adorable Scorable. So it's really nice to have both of the options.
And I think when you see the two vintages, because this is where you've got, as you can see, your matte compared to your silk, and that's where you can really see the difference. So, you know, we flicked through that one that was the silk, but then this is the matte. So they're very different to one another, but it's really just about that finish, to be honest, that you want to get, of course, with these. Also got your classic Christmas that we can see here. This is in your matte, so if you're wanting to get that, you can see lovely colours from your blues to your reds that we can see, your golden tones as well, one of the most popular ones, very limited on stock. So there's absolutely loads of them that, of course, we can sort of could be flicking through, and if there's any that you particularly want to see, just send us a message and we can always come back across to them. But all you need to do is put 2 into your basket to get that discount. If you just want one, you can at £7.99, but you'll get that discounted, of course, down to £9.91 if you want to get 2 of these. And, of course, they will work so well with the brand new collections, with the sentiments, because if you're wanting to use those 4 mattes that each of these come with, you might want 4 different colours, mightn't you?
Want
which
4
work
different colours.
really
you
well.
Might want to like
from this.
select like I did in that first demo, using all the different shades. So I've picked out different colours from the different pads to be able to do that, and that might be something that you want to do. But they are really, really essential.
They are.
So for the next one, we're going to do something completely different to the cards we did earlier on in the show. So I'm actually going to show you how you can use the dies that we've got here to create an aperture that you could make like a spinner card from with the sentiment inside. So, Bobby, would you mind passing me the scoreboard from up there? Always forget it.
Yeah, do you want
the little one that's on the pegboard?
one?
I always forget that I will need this.
That's all right.
I know, but I'm not taking that one off the set. I'd break all sorts of things. This one's more easily accessible.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you. So I'm going to start by making sort of like my panel here for the card. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to score this. So this in length, I want to say, is the size of an A4, and I've just cut it down to 5. So what we're going to do is I'm going to score this at 2.5, at 5. I'm then going to score it at 7.5, and then I'm going to move this all the way up to the 5-inch mark. I'm going to score it at 7.5 again, so that will give me 4 equal panels, and then I've got this really nice tab here. So what I can do with this, because I don't need it to be this long, is I can just cut it so it's about 1/2 inch wide. I could have used my trimmer to do that, but easy enough to do that with my scissors. And then once I've got this panel together, what I can do is I can start to decorate this up. So I've got another piece here, which is slightly smaller. This is our purple. And I'm just going to bring this out a little bit and then score this as well in the middle. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to use one of the embossing folders that we've also got on the show.
So that one is your polka dot one, your dots that you've got just there.
To this. So I'm just going to bring my 2 plates for this. And I'm going to run this through. Now, it's important to do this step before we do any die cutting, because we're going to die cut it all together, and you need the aperture to be the same level. So I'm going to pop this on, and then I did the same technique in the earlier on show with this pattern as well, and it is a pattern I love to do. It looks really cool like that. But I'm just going to elevate it by just going over with a sanding block.
It's like transformed it, hasn't it?
It completely transforms it. It gives it that sort of like a pattern paper design.
Definitely, yeah.
So I'm just going to then stick this down, and I'm going to go in with my tape runner, but you want to, don't just do all the way around the edges, you want to really pop a lot on, because we are going to die cut through this. So then I'm going to line this score line up, because I've still got that score line, with the score line on the first 2 panels, and you want to make sure you've got a nice white edge around there. And then we are going to use the Get Well Soon. So I'm going to take the largest die, which I've got here, and then going to take the smallest sort of aperture or nesting die, matte and layer, however you want to describe that die. I'm going to die cut this. So I've got another piece of the purple. and I'm going to die cut that with my sentiment.
Yep.
And then I did have some white. Let me try and find that again. I'm going to stick this down onto here.
Yeah.
So that doesn't move. And then I'm going to stick down my largest sentiment. All I need to do is make sure that I'm using it the right way around.
Right, yeah.
Because otherwise I'm going to cut the sentiment, but the rest of the die won't fit in. So I'm going to stick that down, and I want it to be halfway in between those two score lines.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's get all of my plates.
We've just popped the tape runner onto the show as well. A couple of people were asking about that, so that's there with 2 refills.
And I'm going to stick these all down. So you want to cut the whole panel of this,
yeah,
and then the sentiment. And then I'm sure I had a piece of white card before. I did, it's here. What we're going to do is we're going to cut this out, but I want to cut it out twice. So to be able to do that, I'm just going to layer up 2 pieces of the Ink Me card, and I'll just squeeze that in there as well.
Okay.
So we're just going to run that through. This is why you use your tape, because it'll move around if you don't. So let's pop this in here.
Oh, have you hurt your finger?
Yeah, so this is ink from before.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I've been laying floor.
Oh, have you?
I've been laying floor over the last couple of days.
Right.
I've been trying to get it finished, and I've had an injury while doing this. And it had healed, but then I was unloading boxes out of my car before I got here, and I just caught it, and I was like, oh, no. But the floor looks good.
Well, that's good. I mean,
my finger just doesn't. So you've got this really nice design now, and you've got these 2 dies. So what we're going to do is take out this from here.
Yeah.
And I'm going to stick this onto one of those panels. So just using my dotty tape runner again, and I'm just going to go around sort of those larger areas with this. You can also use your purple glue stick. It is completely down to sort of choice of sort of what you want to use to stick this down with. I'm going to stick this on in place here.
Super.
So we've got that get well soon. You just want to manoeuvre it around ever so slightly until it sort of sits in place.
Yeah.
And then I've got myself a little piece of string. So let's grab that. I've got quite a big bit actually, because I didn't know how much I would need. But I'm just going to trim that to the length of my aperture.
Okay.
And then I'm going to take this, and using my red tape, I've got my super thick one.
Yeah.
I am going to just create 2 little tabs to stick this down. So this bit you can sort of like remove the backing of your red tape if you want to. I'm going to keep it down like so, and then once you've got that in place, just trim away those edges.
Yep.
And then we are going to stick onto our panel here. I'm going to take my get well soon. I'm going to use it the right way round.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to go in with my tape runner and add loads of tape onto that. And then I've stuck that onto my board now. Lift this into place.
Yeah.
And then you can just place that around in the centre of the aperture that the largest one has created. Make sure you're happy with the placement. You want it to have a lot of movement because you're going to want this to spin.
Stick it on.
And then we're going to stick this one over the top to keep that in place. And then you will have that sentiment that sort of spins.
That's really good. And it's really nice to see that in such a different way to what you'd probably automatically think of how to use these.
And that's why they are such a cool sort of like set of dies to use. So I'm just going to finish the inside by adding in another panel of this purple. This time we're not going to use our embossing folder on it though. I am just going to stick it in sort of flat, because you're not going to see that much detail, but I am going to score it just to help with the card that we're making here. So scoring those 2 pieces, I'm going to place that in the middle like so, and then what you can do is we can just fold all of these scores together.
Okay.
I'm going to add a piece of red tape onto this tab. So we can just trim that off. Trim this down. And this is going to create a spinner. But because you've got the different radiant dies here, you can obviously create an aperture that is sized perfectly to the shape of your design. So then you've got something that looks like this.
How cool is that? Really good, isn't it? Gosh, and especially I think when we're looking at that polka dot as well that you've got. That
it looks really nice, doesn't it?
Yeah, from that sandpaper in as well. It's super. So just to remind you as well on this bundle that you are getting that discount, and it does mean that you are going to get all 6 of those sentiments. Plus, with each one of those, you're getting those 4 matte layers as well that come with it, so that you can really build depth if you want to with these, or of course you can use just one depth. You know, one of those. It's totally up to you. But you can see there, you're thinking of you. You'll get well soon. Happy birthday, best wishes, good luck that we've got there, and then of course your thank you as well. Again, if you want any of them individually, they're there. I know that the particularly the happy birthday one, it has almost gone now individually for a second time, so we will just give you a quick reminder of that one. So if you do want to get it individually at £14.99, you can do, but we are now limited on that restock of that one that's available. Now the other thing that Nat used was the embossing folders. Now I've got 4 individually, but again we've got a great bundle deal. So the dots was the one that you saw Nat use there with her demonstration, which is absolutely lovely, isn't it? And the effect, I mean, the kind of, it almost for me, it was the height that it kind of creates.
Yeah, it just transforms your cardstock, doesn't it? And you can do that with all 4 of the designs that we're going to show you as well. And it's such a great way of, if you don't have like pattern paper or anything that's like fits the feel of what the type of card you're making, then sort of using your embossing folders is great because it gives your card texture, it gives your card dimension, but actually you can keep it plain in terms of you could just use a single colour. You can sand it back like we just did, or you can like use inks with them as well. So there was a few techniques that we did in the earlier show with the embossing folders. So you can watch that back to, if you've never used embossing folders before, it'll give you a nice idea of what you can do with them. Yeah,
definitely. And I think £5.99 as well. They're really, really good price.
So good, this price.
And we've got stars, that was your zigzags, then we've got your stars as well, which, I don't know, for me that's quite magical.
They're so essential, like and you could use these with like space themes, you could use them for celebrations.
Absolutely.
There's loads of different ways how you can incorporate stars into your design.
And then stripes is your final one of those 4 that we have available for you. And again, if you're thinking Christmas or you're doing your Christmas cards, could be candy canes, for example, that you're thinking of with stuff like this. So all of them are £5.99 individually, so great price that you've got. But what we are going to do is give you a chance if you want all of them. So we have got a lovely bundle opportunity, so it should be £23.96. But if you'd like to go for these embossing folders, which again have been so popular ever since these were launched, then we can take these down to a super price for you, where you can actually get these for under £20 today. So that's what we're going to do. So less than £5 for you to be able to get these. So going down today to £19.96, so less than a fiver each on those ones for you to be able to get them. And I remember when these first came in and it was just like...
I know, it was crazy, wasn't it? I mean, I don't think I've ever seen embossing folders that are that well priced.
No, exactly. And
it's such a good...
brilliant finish.
Yeah.
So a superb deal where you are looking at less than £5 per one, so £19.96 for you to be able to jump in and take advantage of those 4 different ones. So your stars, your zigzags that you've got there, you've got your dots and you've got your stripes as well. All of them £5.99 individually or under a fiver if you want to get them in that bundle opportunity. Now, the colour blocks, again, are selling very well. That is where you've got a great opportunity and mix. You can, of course, again, buy these, 1 for £7.99, but we've got that 2 for £9.91. But 2 into your baskets, it will automatically discount you. We are very limited now on the frosted Christmas silk, particularly. The classic Christmas silk is also very limited. Others we've got a bit more availability on. So if you want those 2, then they're the ones that are selling the quickest at the moment. Should we do another demo?
Yes. So this time I'm going to show you how you can make like shaped gatefolds with the dies.
Great. Yeah.
So I've got a piece of, I think this is A3 that I've made this from. Okay. So let me just get the measurement for you. So this is the full size of a A3 piece of cardstock, and you're just going to score it at 2.5 inches. So I'm scoring it at 2.5, I'm scoring it at 5, and then again I'm just going to move this over, but that's mainly because I've got my smaller scoreboard. I'm then going to score it at 5, I'm going to score it at 7.5, and then my last panel I can trim that down. So we want this to be, I think it's going to be 12.5 altogether. So no, it's not. It's going to be 15 altogether, because you've got those 4 panels that are 2.5, so that's 10, and then you've got the 5 in the middle. Okay. So let's just bring this together, and then we're going to score this. So I'm going to score it in, and then I'm also going to score it out. So this is going to make your really nice sort of gatefold shape, a gatefold that kind of like opens out in this way. Like that. And then I'm going to take my largest die. So this is my best wishes that we're using for this card, and we are going to lay this in the centre of here. But what you want to do is you just want to tape it down on one of those sides for now, because we're going to stretch this out, and we're just going to die cut this piece. So if I get my dies, how you can best do this is to line this up on your mats, like so. Make sure that your plates are really, really neat together, and then just line this panel up. And at the same time, I'm going to cut out my other dies. So let's just make sure I'm not cutting into my metal plate, because I will do that. My magnetic sheet even. So just holding that in place now. And what you can do is that you can sort of run it. What am I doing now? I want to push these ones up. There we go. Just holding that on there, and then what you want to do is like feed the paper through. And then
comes out the other side.
It's just going to pop out the other side, but it's just going to cut
then you know you're at the
that
right place,
piece that you wanted it to cut. And then what you're going to do is you're going to fold the card in the same way that you did it before. So let's just wait for that to come out. So I'm going to fold that back over, and then I'm going to get another piece of tape just for ease. I'm going to stick that down onto this side now, and then what you can do is just remove this tape from this side. So if you're thinking about like really, really fancy ways in which you can use these dies, then hopefully today, throughout the 2 shows, I've shown you 6 different ways, completely different, of how you can create apertures, how you can create shaker cards with them, how you can create like the other card that we did earlier on. So you just want to feed that through, again, your machine. It will pop out the other side, and then we're just going to run and cut that second side. So once you've got those elements taken out, let's wait for our machines to come out. What I'm going to do is just remove that tape from here and from the top piece there. Remove any sort of excess that you've got. And then I'm just going to take my scissors, actually, and I'm going to cut down this score line. So you want to be on the other end of the score line, and then if you've got any bits that you need to sort of like meet because the machine wasn't sort of lined up properly, then you can just line those bits up. So that's one side cut, and then the other side again, just go in to the side of the score line. I'm going to trim that to here, and then just cut that on the other side. And then let's decorate this really cool gatefold now, because that gatefold is obviously going to fit that best wishes perfectly. Great. So we can take our mat and layer, and we can take our words. So I've got some Adorable Scorable here, and I've actually matched these colours to the cardstock from our brand new designer Adorable Scorable selection. I'm going to go in with this one. So let's take those panels. I've got 2 green panels here, which are going to fit just onto these sections. So where's my trimmer? We can cut this panel down. So this is 2 1/4. And I think this one is just slightly under the 2 1/2.
Okay.
So that was 2 under. So that's 1/4 under. So what I'm going to do here is, I know that that's 5. So if I go to, let's try it there. There we go. So where have I cut that to? Just over the 4 1/2.
Yeah.
I'm going to cut that twice, and then I'm also going to do my mats and layers for the inside of my card. So I'm going to cut this slightly 2 notches smaller than the 5x5. So there's the other one, and then I'm going to go in again and trim out this gorgeous piece of cardstock, and that's going to go 2 notches over the 4 1/2 to give me 1/4 of an inch difference, which is going to allow that green to really come out on the card.
Yeah.
So we can just pop this all together now. I'm going to stick this onto here, and then these panels can go
a nice new cardstock, isn't it?
It's really nice. This is our embroidered blooms.
It literally looks like it's
there's
not
6,
flat, doesn't it? Like
no.
it's woven.
So there's 6 designs that you get in this pack, and they're all completely different, but they're like embroidered flowers, and it looks so three-dimensional. It is absolutely incredible. It's so fun to like fussy cut and to card make from. So these were launched on Sunday with Amy, and they are absolutely gorgeous. So just going to bring in that colour into the background, and then obviously I've left like quite a nice white edge around all of my panels here. So what I can do is I've got quite a big edge here. So for this I used my word die, then I missed a die out and used the probably the second, and then I missed a die out, and the largest one created this section. So that's how we've got that mix of sort of like mats and layers. So just popping out the detail from my best wishes there. And then let's go in with my dotty tape runner again. We're just going to add this onto our words, and then I'll just go across on the wishes, just adding that to those little sections, and then this will fit really nicely across here. So you need to remember that you've got quite a big mat and layer for this, so just make sure it's all even around those outsides. And then I'm just going to add my tape onto one side of here, and I'm just going to keep it to the middle because again I know I've got quite a big mat and layer, and then I can just stick that onto here, and then we can fold that in.
Great,
so it looks like you've got that full sentiment in the middle, but actually then you open it up and it is that gatefold design.
Oh, I love that.
So that is how you can create your shaped gatefolds.
Really clever, isn't it? So as Nat sort of said, there's so many different ways that you can create cards with these. And you've seen so many of those across the couple of hours of shows as well. I mean, here's a shaker one that we can see just there with your happy birthday. We've got your get well soon that we can see as well on that one. This was one that Nat created on the earlier show that we saw as well, the Thinking of You, beautiful. And this cardstock that we're seeing here, that's going to come up in a moment from that new collection also. Then we've got Amy has created that, where you can see by using the happy birthday as a stopper if you wanted to. So there's just so many different ways to use these. Remember, every single one of these dies comes with the sentiment. It then comes with 4 of those matte layers as well, where you can use all of them, or of course you can use none of them. It's totally up to you. Another really big design that we can see there. Now, to remind you, we have got, of course, these sentiments that are within this collection. So it is your Thinking of You and your Get Well Soon, and you can see those there on that board. You've also got your good luck, and you have as well with this one your thank you that you can see on that one. And then finally, you do get your happy birthday and your best wishes as well. All of them $14.99 individually, but of course the best price is to go for the bundle at $36.97. Now the new cardstock that of course you saw a little sneak peek of the embroidered one. There's another piece that you can see just here that's been made into this beautiful piece, is here in front of us. We launched this on Sunday, so it is so new as well for you to be able to get this. And it is the collection 4 that we've got from our Hunky Dory Adorable Scoreable. Lovely mix, I have to say.
It's a great mix, isn't it? We were saying earlier on, I think it's perfect for so many different ages. You've got this beautiful sort of antique polka dots, which I think for male theme cards as well is really nice because you've got all of those really gorgeous colourways in there. And you are going to get 2 each of 6 designs.
Brilliant.
Then this one is your Gothic Rose. So this is gorgeous. So this is a whole sheet of cardstock. And you've got so many different designs within this one as well. It's really pretty.
Some of these I think that I just want to frame, to be honest with you.
I think it would look really nice as like home decor.
Yeah, without a doubt.
You could, it reminds me of like the sort of paper that you use for scrapbooking, journaling.
And
if you're wanting to do that really nice, if you're wanting to decoupage it as well, like actually popping it onto furniture, this would look really cool.
And I think when you see that to the one that you made earlier, that's when you can really see how it can transform as well.
You can see how it can completely look different when you're making it into cards.
Yeah, definitely.
This is so nice with that script detail a bit more on there.
I feel like when we launched it, each time I saw another of these bits, I was like, oh, that's my favourite. Oh, that's my favourite.
Really nice.
Because how different is that to the polka dots or to the Gothic Rose that we've just seen?
So the first 2 that you saw there were matte-tastic. The rest of them are all silk finish. So this one is your alcohol inks. And this is great because these sort of designs you can create yourself if you wanted to. If you had sort of like gilding flakes and if you had different types of colours of alcohol inks, you could sort of do this. But it would take so much time. It would be so messy. And it probably wouldn't look as perfect as this does.
No, definitely not.
But I love this one. It's so fun. Perfect for like birthdays and happy themes. And then this is your embroidered blooms. So you've got 6 designs here. You've got a really nice ditzy pattern. Then you've got these blue tones.
That's the one you'll be using.
Your daisies, which I absolutely love.
Yeah.
This is gorgeous as well. Your roses, so good for like anniversaries and wedding cards. And then you've got these beautiful sort of like pink roses there as well, like tea roses.
And then this again, so different.
Really nice, isn't it? But completely different. This one has got that gorgeous gradient, that mix of sort of colours. You've got really nice pastel bubblegum shades in here. So it's a gorgeous mix.
It really is. So you are getting all of those collections that you can see there. So that is the pastel ombre. And you are getting 2 of each of them as well, which is absolutely brilliant, I have to say.
60 sheets in total.
60 sheets.
Is crazy, isn't it?
Should have been $29.95 if you were kind of paying for them individually. But we are going to match that launch price that we came to, of course, on Sunday. And instead, we're going to take £10 off it. So you can get 60 sheets for £19.95, which is absolutely brilliant. Been very, very popular. And I think it's always really nice when you're one of the first people as well to be able to get the cardstock home to be able to use it. So gorgeous samples, of course, we've seen obviously used with these word sentiments as well. So obviously if you do kind of want to use them together, you could see that you could create something like that. Obviously
when we talk about how well these dies work for just making cards on their own, just being sort of like the main focus of your designs, you can really see it with the samples that you're seeing here, like mixing and matching the designs together, using them separately. It is absolutely gorgeous, and they look so good.
Don't they? They just look absolutely gorgeous, kind of used,
They're like
I think,
real
individually or
showstoppers with the designs that you've got here.
Absolutely. So £19.95 if you want to go for that today and get the brand new Ultimate Collection 4 that we've got just there. Now, a few of you have asked about the colour blocks again. Yes, we can bring them back live for you. You've got a couple of minutes left on the show. Now, in each of these, you are getting 48 sheets. It's a huge amount.
It's a huge amount, You get 4 sheets of each different colour, and there's 12 colours included in each. And I love the fact that we've got the colour wheel on the front as well, so you know exactly what the shade and tone of colour is going to look like, what you've got in that pad as well before you flick through it, because you might want it to be mixing and matching all your greens like I did yesterday when I was creating that card that you saw at the first of the show. So it's really nice. But yeah, you've got the mix of shades as well. Oh, I think this one's Christmas.
Oh, has it been put on the different one?
I think it's all been mixed up. So this one's actually your Christmas.
Because they've lost their fronts, because they've all been used so much. So this is your classic Christmas, isn't it, that one, which is in the silk. So we've got that one there. But there's just so many, of course, different opportunities. The pastels, as we said, very popular, but you can see the difference there, of course, of getting the matte that we can see comparative to the silk as well.
It's just a great thing to stock up on. I mean, you're getting 48 sheets here for... Well, no, you're not. You're getting 92? 90, oh.
In, what, 48 times 4?
No, because you're getting... You were right, weren't
48
you?
times 2?
96. You're getting 96 sheets for $7.99.
Yeah.
$7.99. It's madness. No, you're not.
$9.91.
In the pick and mix.
Yeah, $9.91. Yeah, really good though.
But that's so good.
Sheets. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you're looking at pennies, really, aren't you?
Honestly, my maths today.
So,
I'm ready to go now.
I'm not a maths
I'm
person.
done.
Like sometimes my maths is there, and sometimes my maths is shocking. Where I'm just
my
let's
maths
just
is
nod,
terrible all the time. All the time.
So yes, so just wanted to just give you a quick extra look at those. So remember, one of those in your basket, $7.99. Two of them, £9.91. If you want to go for that, it will automatically work it out, of course, on the website for you. Now, the bundle, of course, brand new today, has been so popular for you to be able to get this. Now, we have got the best wishes and the happy birthday that is coming to you. We also have the good luck and the thank you, and we have the get well soon and the thinking of you. But I think it's when you actually see them kind of on the board here and you get to see that layering, you know, the way that the matte layers actually work.
The
to be able to
definition
build this
that
up.
you kind of that creates, and that's just using 2mm foam pads as well. Imagine if you were using your 4mm.
Oh gosh, yeah.
It would be a huge difference there.
Yeah, wouldn't it just?
But you can like obviously create like pyramage, you can create invitage, so you can cut them all inside to create that really nice design. You can do apertures with these. You can create frames because, of course, you've got the two different sizes. So cut them out twice. You've got frames for your words.
Yeah.
You've seen me do the spinner card, so you can create that. You shape spinner. You can do gate folds. The possibilities really are endless. It's just how you think about how you can get the most out of these dies.
Yes, definitely. And they're just such lovely fonts, I think.
I really like the font. I love the mix of sort of typography you've got. They're classic, and it's a font that's never going to age. Like, you're never going to get to a new year and think, oh, I think I want a different die now. No. Like it's a typography that you're always going to use.
Yeah, definitely. And of course, sentiments that have really been thought of as well to kind of cover all of those different occasions, so that you've really got something in your stash to kind of cover pretty much everything, to be honest with you. So lovely opportunity, of course, to be able to get these today. Discounted if you want them all to £36.97. So do, of course, make sure you're coming through for them. We know individually as well, the best wishes and happy birthday is very popular. We are very limited now on this. It sold out completely on its own in the earlier show. We're down to the final 15 chances now. So if you do want that one individually, there's 15 opportunities to be able to get it. So good luck with that. I'm sure that will be selling out very shortly. Thank you so much, Nat. Lovely to see you, and so much on that show, I think, for everybody to kind of digest, to be able to use their one
loads, wasn't there? Well. So hopefully you'll be able to grab yourself some bargains.
Yes, exactly. Rightio. Well, we will see you soon. I'm sure.
I'll be back next Tuesday.
Oh, lovely. Well, I will be with you next Tuesday on the earlier time. So we are coming into our final hour of the day now. We have got Pete back with the most incredible Sizzix show and launch. Now, this has been unbelievably popular as well. I mean, it's just, these new launches have just, they've kind of blown our socks off, really. If you do want to get what we are bringing in the next hour, you don't want to miss it, because we are coming down to our last few chances. I'll see you with that in a moment.
Here at HobbyMaker, we only charge 1 P&P throughout the day. You can add as many items to your basket and checkout and still only be charged once. Once you've checked out the first time and want to order again, you simply add the item to the basket and click on the Combine Order button. Shopping made easy at HobbyMaker.
Join Carnation on Friday and escape into your own world of homegrown delights. For anyone that loves to enjoy the beauty of plants and likes to dabble in a spot of gardening, to those that hone the mighty skill of growing their own fresh produce. The Botanical Bliss collection features a show-stopping greenhouse with the option of creating volume to build a beautiful sanctuary for as many plants as you can dream of. Along with some fun-filled characters, this collection can be used to make beautiful, wholesome cards for children and adults alike. Don't miss this brand new launch from Carnation Crafts.
Did you know at HobbyMaker that on various products we offer split pay? That means on certain items you can spread the cost over 2, 3, 4 or sometimes even 5 interest-free monthly payments. Just pay the first instalment when you purchase and you're away. So shop your way with split pay.
Are you having trouble finding the perfect gift? Then why not treat them to the new gift card from HobbyMaker at hobbymaker.co.uk. Simply scroll down to the bottom where it says gift cards, click and you'll be taken to the right place. Decide between posting the card or delivery by email and then decide how much you want to add. You choose the value. So what do you get the crafter that's got everything? Why not treat yourself or them to the HobbyMaker gift card? Our UK-based call centre is always on hand to assist you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Every day, our experts will bring you a wealth of knowledge. They'll take you through the steps of making projects, and we feature fabulous tips along the way. Whether you're new to crafting or a seasoned pro, you are sure to learn something new. We are live every day from 1 p.m. to 8 p.m, and you can also watch back all of the demonstrations featured on the show on our YouTube channel.
Our call centre is based in the UK and available 24/7. Just call 0800 001 4433 or email help@hobbymaker.co.uk.
Welcome back. Gosh, I can't believe we're at the last hour of the day already. It always feels like it just flies and gets quicker and quicker as the day kind of goes on.
Absolutely
So
does, yeah.
I'm really excited about this, I have to say.
Good.
Yeah,
Well.
obviously I kind of finished the show yesterday as you came on.
That's right, yeah.
So I got a bit of a sneak peek and I've had a sort of a little look at everything and I was just like, wow. I mean, the fact that obviously you're talking Christmas, you're talking Tim Holtz, you're here to show us all of this as well. It's just so exciting. But what I do need to kind of get across to everybody at home is how popular this has been. We started with a really, really big quantity of this, knowing how popular, or expecting, you know, it to be incredibly, popular. We're down now to less than 80 chances.
Right.
So we know that obviously once it's gone so much that has been on the show has completely sold out as well. But everything that is still available will be here for you within this show. And we've got some amazing samples to show. You're going to give some extra demos. And you can, of course, always look back and watch everything that we've had as well. Now, I just think it's the selection for me as well and the amount of dies that you get in each of these sets to be able to kind of create these really mesmerising scenes almost on each of these cards.
Yeah, and everything that Tim does harks back to a previous collection as well, so he really thinks it through. And he's also thinking about the next Christmas collection. So you know that these can go in your stash and they're going to come out year after year.
Yes, yeah,
and they're going to be something that's familiar but different as well. Tim puts a special spin on things. Yeah. So we're very excited. And we couldn't launch yesterday till 5 because Tim actually launched this collection on his Facebook page yesterday at 4.
Ah, I see. So you was having to just sort of wait
so
for
you
that
guys saw them
time.
First.
Wow. Okay,
really.
which is so amazing that we do get that relationship obviously with you, and you've got that with Tim as well, to be able to bring you these. Now, when you actually have a look across these, now you can see that we have got the festive wreath. We've also got your holiday classic that we can see just there as well. And every single one of these, I mean, I love that you have got the most sort of beautiful fonts with these. We've got the most gorgeous images that we can see, from your poinsettias to, you know, those scenes that we've got with the Santa kind of moving across as well. And it's all about kind of what you want to create. Do you want to use them in the way that they're sort of being looked at in these die sets, or do you want to take different pieces from each one and create something completely different? Because of course you can do that as well, as you can see with the way the poinsettia has been used there, the jolly holly as well. I mean, that gorgeous wreath, but do you just want to take the clementine? Do you just want to take the flower or the candles? And then this one's fun, isn't it, where you've got the ice skates and the snowman, and you've got that lovely snowflake that we've got as well. The designs are just captivating, I think.
They are captivating, and he does build a lot of versatility.
Yes, yeah,
and if you're wondering how Tim chose these, they're back from the vault.
Yeah.
Now, Tim's been making dies with us for about 12 years, so there's a lot to dip back into, and people are saying, are you ever going to bring this back? Are you going to bring that back? So what he's done is he's resized them. He's taken them from, sometimes they used to be very deep Biggs dies.
Yeah.
So they're all resized, everything. So they're not in the way that you might have had them in the past. They have changed. But he's given you the opportunity to get some of these iconic designs.
Yeah, some fan favourites, I imagine, that he knows that people have been asking for.
So it's kind of like Tim's greatest hits.
Yes, yeah. Couldn't get anything better than that, could you? Now, we have, of course, got a fabulous deal price on these as well. So we will be bringing to you, of course, at the very best price that we can. It's 91 dies in total. I mean, when you actually sum that up, you know, we're currently, of course, at pretty much £1 a die, which is a brilliant price in itself. But we are going to get that price straight down for you for what we can do today. 91 dies from Tim Holtz. As we say, we've only got those 80 chances left. And you might be sitting there and going, 80 chances? That sounds a lot. That is nowhere near enough. We know how many people watch. We know how many people buy on shows. We've seen how many have sold already. And they are £60 today, available, of course, on that split payment as well. So less than 65p a die to be able to get these, basically, which is brilliant. Now, we've had so many amazing samples created, of course, during the shows that we'd like to kind of show people to see what you can do with these. I
think it might be a good place to start, actually, because I want to talk about that versatility, and I've got some here. And what I want to talk about is the individual elements and how different they look stylistically.
Definitely.
So look at the snowflake, for example. It's pure white there.
Yes,
that one, we have luster wax. That one, we have acrylic on it. This one is done as a faux embossed in the background. This one is very industrial and grungy. Again, the ice skates, those gorgeous vintage ice skates, you know, we've got embossing there to bring it forward. We've got embossing on the show. That gorgeous snowman. I mean, because all the parts are individual and the arms are individual, you can have him doing whatever you want. If you want to have him with his arms held out and you want little snowballs, he can be juggling. It's entirely up to you, but look at that stylistically, the difference there. This one, you'll see, it's got that lovely alphabet from the Christmas sketch set as well, so you can mix and match these dies. Let's throw in another couple of snowflakes. That one is really industrial. It's got some cogs on it. This one, actually, it was just a plain white one, but I built up layers of embossing powder, so that looks like a piece of steel. It really does look like chrome steel. So there's lots of versatility built in there from the get-go. That's just one of them. You did talk about the wreath.
I love the wreath, yes.
Now, there's 14 dies in there, but actually, you know what, there's 36. Because if you look at the candle, for example, that is made up of 6 separate die cuts. But they're all on one piece of steel. So it's counted as one die, but there are actually 6. The orange slice, that's 2 dies that are joined together, so it's really well thought out. Talk about cardstock. That's just coloured cardstock. There's nothing else there. No techniques, no inks. That one is our set of 80 cardstock, which we shall be looking at, so there's little elements of that in there as well. This is the same card, but done with distressing. So if you want to go for that kind of distressing look, subtly different, but I put the red berries in there. Now, you talked about different elements. We've got we've got, obviously, the candles there. That's doubling up on the candles. Put the poinsettia. That one's a large poinsettia. That one's small. So you can change these to accommodate however you want. So many great elements in there you can use individually or together. This set is a particular favourite of mine because of its sheer versatility.
Yes,
that is set number 2. Now, I love this one. I love this one. This is the Christmas sketch set. It's got this lovely... So when you do these kind of like, there's 2 dies. There's the base die and the detail die. If you kind of offset them, it gives it that very modern kind of sketchy look. But you know what? Because of the die set is quite Art Deco. Which is kind of modern retro. So, you know, these are nice and graphic. This one, you've got some distress things coming in. It's just a really versatile set, a lot of fun. I love this style particularly, but it's so different from the style that we saw previously. And that's it with Tim. His style is, there is no style. It's whatever you want it to be. It's your style.
Just so talented, isn't he? Because of the fact that he kind of covers everything. Which also makes everything very timeless, where you know that these are going to be the sets that you'll be getting out year after year after year to be able to use, but creating completely different cards from the year before.
I think timeless is a great word, actually, to describe these sets, because that's what Tim builds into his designs, that timeless element. Now, this is those 3 lovely woods. They're almost like Dickensian Victorian Christmas.
Absolutely.
You've got the sketchy watercolour poinsettia that comes with it, all the fronds and so on and so forth. This is using part of the wreath as well to create that lovely frond. Different techniques, very different look and feel. But again, the versatility is built in there. This one, with the word Noel kind of repeated like that as a faux emboss. It's just a lovely, lovely set. And this set would go well, indeed, with any of the others as well. You could put that snowflake underneath. You know, you could put the vintage skates with some of these fronds. Or maybe people like doing the vintage skates with little bits of festive fronds coming out and maybe a poinsettia. Then the last one, I love this one because it reminds me... You love the movie Elf, no doubt. Everybody loves it. I asked that not in expectation. But New York skyline. I mean...
Magical, isn't it?
It really is. But he's got these skyline dies there, so we're looking at something like this. I've doubled up on that skyline die. We've got Santa and his sleigh, the moon. That's all part of the same set. Now, if you want to do it Art Deco New York Christmas, then you can do that as well. That's just plain cardstock. No fancy techniques. Again... Just plain cardstock. And that's
how different they look by using different colours of cardstock
as well. Let's put them side by side so we can see that, so we can see how you can...
Same die, same scene, totally different
die. And we've got the lovely lamppost in there. That wreath with the ribbon on it, that is part of the set. We could go really cute like that. So there's the truck with the Christmas trees in the back. There's the little car with the tree on the top. We had a laugh about this one yesterday because I held it up and the tree fell off.
Oh, no. Okay, well, that could happen when you're driving along, couldn't it?
It can happen, I hope it doesn't happen to you, but...
I used to go and fetch my trees with my soft top down, you know, my roof, and that was the only way I could fit the tree in. So,
yeah, well, we used to go and get a tree every year, but it just got too much. So, yeah, we've gone for the fake there, unfortunately. But we all spray pine disinfectant, so you get the smell. That's a lie. It stinks. But that's a pop-up. That's a simple pop-up which I made. You know, you got Santa. Imagine receiving that card and opening that up. That's just magical.
Spectacular, aren't they, across every single one of these? And I think kind of looking at that as well, I mean, we will go through each of these individually, so that if you do want to get the individuals, you can do. Of course, the best price saving is to get them all. But I think when you see those samples, that's when you kind of realise exactly what you can do and how much you can actually do with each of these as well. This one, phenomenal. You know, the fact that you are getting all of the numbers, all of the alphabets as well, of course. And then, as we saw, with the kind of holly, with that flower as well. And I was thinking on those samples with that flower that you could use that all year round. That, to me, this isn't really a Christmas die set in many respects, apart from the holly.
No, not at all. No.
And that is there at that brilliant, brilliant price of £17.99, which we are actually going to give you an even better price on today. So if you want to get this, you can take that down to £14.99. Again, we saw those beautiful samples with the wish, the peace, the Noel, but we can see that's what comes with your poinsettia, all of the extra kind of foliage that we're seeing there as well, the little bell that we've got, the acorns as well. All of these will, of course, be matched in price, and you can see they've got an absolutely massive amount of dies, of course, in every single one of these. this one. I mean, maybe my favourite, but I don't know, because each sample I see I kind of change my mind on. But if you love that sort of New York skyline, the fact that you are getting that separate lamppost, you've got those trees on top of the cars as well, you've got that really iconic look with your Santa, with his reindeer, that beautiful couple of dies to be able to create that moon as well that you've got, and that is £14.99. Then the wreath, and the fact of how you can build this wreath up, as we've seen, by using all of the bits in this or from the other die sets as well if you wanted to. Those candles just on their own as well, to be able to create the most magical and marvellous scene that we've got, of course, with that. So many dies, of course, in that one. And then finally, we saw all of those different samples using that snowflake, a really fantastic size on that snowflake. Love as well how you mentioned about the snowman and having all those different sort of dies with it, because the sort of fun you can have with the different placements, of course, of like the arms and everything that comes with that. And then those skates, I mean, that for me, again, use it for Christmas, but I think all year round for kind of birthday cards, you know, for younger children. A lot of people love ice skating. So
absolutely, and even if you've got a winter birthday as well, you know.
Definitely.
Well, I've got a winter birthday, but it's actually Christmas Day, so it doesn't really matter what you... It's Christmas Day, it is.
Oh, do you ever get 2 presents, or do you just all... Does everyone just kind of not?
As long as everybody's happy and I've got the day off work, I don't really
just feel like when you were young...
people overcompensated.
Did they? They went the other way?
What was the first thing you thought of the 2 presents?
Yeah, I felt sorry for you.
So family feels sorry for me, they overcompensate.
Right, fair enough, so you get even more.
There you go.
Did you ever get to have a birthday party? Did you have to have a different day? No, because you can't really invite people on Christmas Day.
But I don't know any different to us. So,
no, it's true. Yeah. Well, double the celebration, isn't it?
It's great.
All about you on Christmas Day.
It's all about me.
I've never met somebody born on Christmas Day.
Oh, really?
No. So there we are. So yes, so you've got those individually, but of course, nearly everybody is wanting to go for the full set because of the fact that everyone's going to want all of these. They are kind of brought back from the vault, of course, fan favourites, new kind of little takes on this new dies as well that we've got, and you are getting that reduced from $89.95 to $59.99. So a really brilliant saving of £30. So it's almost like you're getting 2 of the die sets pretty much for free,
absolutely.
Really.
Yep, absolutely.
Which is fabulous.
Really good.
So 2-way split pay as well, so if you do want to take this home for just under £30, you can, but remember that we are limited now on availability of this, and of course once it's gone, it has gone. We've brought a massive quantity across the 2 days, but we do not have many of them left at all. Would you like to do a demo on it?
I'd love to
do a
demo. I'm all ready,
I'm intrigued, to be honest, to see kind of what you're going to do, which bits you're going to choose. And...
Yeah, well, I'm going to start off with the snowflake.
Okay,
because the reason is I've done this snowflake so many times, so many different techniques. It could have been any of the dies, but I'm going to go with that snowflake.
Okay.
So I've pre-cut one, and I've cut it from this lovely craft card, which I just realised I'm about to put it on top of a silicone mat, which is exactly the same colour. So I know. I'm going to hold it in my hand for the time being so you can see that. Now let's put a little bit of acrylic down there. This is kind of a creamy acrylic. It's what we call light buttermilk. Now I'm using my... I'm taking some of my Sizzix tools from here. And these are interchangeable. Now, if you shop by brand, you will find these on the website.
Tools,
they're different. So this is a blending tool for the... so we're going to see all of these tools in action, actually.
Okay.
But I'm going to start with my brayer, because I want to give this a bit of colour. I want to bring it to life. But you see how I'm taking some of that colour off?
Yes.
Now, I'm working on this, so now you see it doesn't matter so much. I'm looking for the imperfection here.
Yeah.
I'm looking for that. I don't want perfect coverage, so I'm not pressing down really heavy. I could take this and make it completely cream coloured, but I don't want that because we're going for that kind of rustic feel
definitely.
with this one. Now, while I've still got some of that on there, I'll take my spritzer. He says that very slowly because I'm thinking, where have I put my spritzer? Here it is. There you go. So let's get some water in there. Maybe we'll take a little bit more. And we'll spray some water on that, like so, because I want to water it down to a kind of a milky consistency. And at this point, I'm going to take my palette now.
Okay.
I'm going to blend it in. That's what I want. That's what I'm looking for. Because I'll take this. This is the background for that. And I want to get some of this in the back. So this is a great tip, actually, if you want to get a splatter effect, but control it. You know, usually it's not as controllable as this. A palette knife is a
perfect...
Which isn't
necessarily what you would think to do, would you?
No, but it's a great way of doing it. And the further you slide your thumb down there, that will give me really small droplets.
Lovely.
When I move my thumb back, that's going to give me the bigger droplets. Now, let's get that out of the way for a sec, because I'm going to come back to this.
Okay.
and get a bit more on my brayer. So this is why these interchangeable heads are so useful.
Yeah.
Now let's roll that out, because what I want to do now is take this rubber stamp. Now obviously stamping, we usually use inks, but today I'm going to use acrylics.
Yeah.
So I'm putting the acrylic on there like so.
Okay.
And I'm going to bring it onto the background.
Yeah.
Like this. So now we've stamped, and you know, white stamping on brown, it doesn't really show up. But when you use acrylics to make the stamp is imperfect. It's not like using inks. So, but that's the vibe I'm going for with this. I am going for that imperfection. Perfect. It's actually built into the design. So let's pop the stamp over there in some water. So now all that is left to do, actually, I want to take this, and I had a moment of panic before the demo. Well, I haven't plugged in my glue gun, and I need my glue gun, so I'm trying to string it out now, so the glue gun is heated up now. So we've used the brayer, we've used the palette knife. I'll put those to one side, and this time I'm bringing the blending head back in, so that just snaps into place. Taking one of my favourite colours of distressing. This is called pumice stone, and notice how I'm moving from the centre outward and concentrating on those edges. Now, techniques like this, you can't really see what's happening until you start to layer things up.
Yes.
And sometimes things like these inks, they give you that little bit of contrast to help something stand out. And that's what we're doing here. And
it's those little touches that make such a difference, don't they?
Oh, absolutely. So that's my pumice stone, one of my favourite colours. Right, now, background. Let's take... And I've actually outdone myself. I put the double-sided tape on back in the office the other day, so I didn't waste time. You see how I think of you guys?
Exactly, don't you?
I know, I do. There you go. It'd be nice. Obviously, this hasn't dried yet. Normally, I'd let this kind of dry naturally or bring my heat tool. But I'm going to pop that there, so it's sitting against the top. You see that I've torn it at the base. And there is method in my madness, because I've got a stamped sentiment, pre-stamped again, with these in place. 'Tis the season to be jolly. That's going to sit down there. So, do you know what? There's not much more you need to do with this card. No. But I'm going to see if my glue gun... This is the exciting part. This is the acid test.
If not, we can come back to it anyway, can't we?
No, we'll just pretend.
Okay, just stick it on and say, done, it was perfect.
Look, it's heated up. That's fantastic. I'm going to put this at a slight angle. So I'm going to offset that. And what I've done, I've taken some twine, tied it into a bow, and put some of these lovely little... Tim Holtz jingle bells on there, just to add something a little bit industrial. And how simple was that?
I know, that's the thing. You've used so little, haven't you, to actually create that, and yet you can just see that it's just a magical card. It's absolutely fabulous.
Just two colours of card, ivory and the craft. Then a little bit of acrylic, some distressing, a few little details. Wow. That's my kind of card.
It is mine, yes, because it looks, I think it just looks very modern, very contemporary, at the same time as still very magical. So you've got that there. So that is the way that you could use these. Now, we are looking at about 80% of the stock having now been allocated across this set that we've got. That is where you can get absolutely everything. So an amazing 91 dies. And as you sort of mentioned a little bit earlier, these are kind of like the greatest hits of Tim Holtz. These are the ones that have been brought back from the vault. But I love as well that if they were some of the big styes before, some people don't have the machines to use the big styes.
Exactly,
so this could be the moment now where you can think, actually, I can get those into my collection.
The skates were a big style.
Were they?
And that snowflake, that was a big style as well. And it was much, much bigger. So if you have the original, then you can layer up this smaller snowflake on it. So,
Yes, definitely. And you can see as we kind of come along these, why you have got so many of these dies, and actually what you can do, what you can create, of course, with these as well, which is absolutely superb. And all of those different letters, the numbers, the images, the wish, the peace, the Noel as well. And I think what's so nice, actually, about all of these 5 die sets is that you can use them individually, each die set, or you can actually use them all to create any scene that you want to. And I think every single year you're going to be creating totally different things. And wall art as well. I mean, like that Jolly Holly, to be able to kind of pop that up when it's Christmas or anything like that would just be such a great thing to be able to do. So you can see the amount of dies, of course, within each of these. And as you mentioned, some of them have even more than it's kind of showing as well because of the way that it's been put. Now, you've got one of the embossing folders in front of you.
I've got an embossing folder,
a couple of embossing folders, haven't we, on the show, which are absolutely brilliant. Now, one of them has completely sold out, so that one's gone. We've got limited stock now available on each of these. We will bring them to you. So the one that you're about to use is this one, isn't it? Yeah. Now, again, with these, you've got a really brilliant opportunity to create, I mean, with embossing folders, it's the way that they kind of pack that punch and kind of stand out, I think. Yeah. Gorgeous. And if we show you what you can see obviously here, that is going to transform of course into that, and then you can see this is going to transform of course into the second one that you can see there. We've also got boards in different colours, and once again when you see them in different colours it almost looks like you're getting a completely different embossing folder that you've got just there. And we can of course do another great price opportunity on these for you to be able to get them as well, so we can bring them down to £7.99 for you to be able to jump in and take advantage, of course, on those as well. So £7.99 for you to be able to get that one, and then we have the second one that we can see, of course, just here. It almost kind of makes, you know, with that, you're really seeing that wood grain, aren't you? Seeing that tree that we're seeing there as well, and to be able to actually capture that in an embossing folder.
It's extraordinary.
Very clever, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. It really is. And Tim is very proud of his embossing folders because I know how much work goes into the design of them. And, you know, it's not one of those repeating patterns. Every little knot, every little crease in that is individually designed. Yeah, incredible.
It's absolutely superb. So great prices on each of those. And this is the one that you're about to use in a moment.
That is the one I'm going to use. That is Sparkle. Yeah. So I'm actually going to do, because I'm going to introduce some, see, while you were talking.
Yeah, you're thinking.
I made an executive decision, and I was going to do a twofer. Right. But we're going to do a threefer. Okay. So we're going to try and show 3 different techniques. Okay, lovely. Well, maybe 2.5. I don't know. So I'm going to take Sparkle. Yeah. And what I'm going to do now with 3D folders, we always say spritz with water beforehand because it allows the fibres of the card to stretch. Yeah. It gives you a much deeper, crisper, cleaner emboss, and it sets rock solid. So I'm going to pop that in there. And then I'm going to take, I've got my switch machine with me. We haven't got it on the show, sadly, because they are out of stock again. But this is the Tim Holtz switch machine. With the machine, with the scissors machine, you know that all the instructions are always printed on the platform.
So helpful, isn't it?
Making it so much easier. So if you are new to die cutting, or if there is any confusion, and goodness knows there are so many different products, so many combinations, to have that is a godsend. But you know, if you overloaded this machine, if I got the sandwich wrong, the machine would simply reject.
Oh, brilliant.
You know, it wouldn't persevere, it wouldn't struggle, it wouldn't whine, it wouldn't break.
Yeah, which is what we want.
Yeah, that's important to say. Yeah. Because that's what happens. It just rejects an overloaded platform.
Wow, look at that.
But that is the kind of depth that you're going to get. Now, I know it's black on black and it's not as clear as it could be, but we're going to use something to bring that to life. So here's a strip that I made a bit earlier. So that's now dried. And I'm going to take some luster waxes.
Okay,
now, I'll start off with this one, and I always use a separate piece of card on the side like that. Yeah. So this is charcoal, and see what starts to happen when you come over that detail. So I'm taking from the top down, and I'm just fading that out. So I want to go heavier at the top and lighter towards the base. Now, I always use charcoal. With luster waxes, you might think of them individually as individual colours, gold, rose gold, the charcoal. There's so many different options available to you, but I like to blend them. I like to use them together, especially if you're going for vintage techniques. You can get a real kind of patina look going on there. Now, I'm going to take the rose gold, and I'm going to put this alongside. The difference that makes...
Makes me think of a chandelier, you know, when I'm looking at that.
Very much so. It's almost like beadwork just hanging down, isn't it? It's got a sort of an opulent decadence.
Definitely.
Some bordello somewhere. I don't know. But there we are. So we've come from the top again. We've been using that rose gold. and the charcoal together. It's a lovely, lovely combination. And if we see it back against the black like that, that's a great way to bring these things to life. Now, let's go in again now. Snowflake.
Okay.
I cut a snowflake earlier, and this time, again, going from the centre outwards. I'm going a bit heavier this time.
Yeah.
I'm not so concerned about the subtlety with this one. But if this is the base coat, that is what gives you that subtlety by having this charcoal, which is the darker of the silvers, darker of the metallics rather. It's gorgeous. So I'm working to the end there, and then I'm going to come in with some rose gold and just pick out different accents. I'm not going to kind of do this all over. Just a little bit here, a little bit there. I'm not even thinking it through. I just want it to feel right. It's more of a feeling than a kind of a, you know, you're not thinking too much about it. You're just being completely freeform.
Oh, look at that.
That is gorgeous. That looks.
It's almost like every movement as well that you make with that, you see a different colour flashing out as well because of how you've used both those together.
That's the beauty of metallics. It's all about how light and shadow play on there, and that's why it's lovely to give, you know. So, but there's one more. This is the one I've decided to do separate to the others. So I'm going to use some acrylics, and I'm glad I had them with me actually. So I'm going to pop. So I've got some browns here. This is a kind of a ready brown, and I'm going to take this sea sponge.
Okay.
And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this from top to bottom. And this is going to be my base colour. Now, again, it's quite subtle.
Yes.
You can barely see it against the black. That's okay. It doesn't matter. The point is that you will know it's there.
Yeah.
Or rather, you would know it wasn't there when you get to the end of this. So I'm just dragging. It's a lovely effect. Very simple effect, but it's a great way to get spectacular effects without having, you know, because a lot of these mixed media techniques, people look at them and they think, oh wow, that's amazing, I can never do that. But this is just showing how easy that is.
Really.
And again, this one is a sort of a buff or a beige colour. So
and it just feels like it transforms what you've done with the embossing folder by using, you know, the different, whether it's the paint or whether, of course, it's the wax. Or...
It is absolutely transformative. And you're bringing in the red again over the top of that. Just a little bit more here.
It aids, doesn't it?
Now, the last colour, it's that buttermilk. It's the one that we used on our snowflake at the beginning.
Okay.
And this is just going to pick out the detail. So this is the lightest coat of all. So we went heavy with the first one.
Yeah.
About medium with the second one. But this one, this is going to pick out those lovely beads. And it's going to make them stand out from the colour in the background. And you see what I said about that red?
Yeah.
It's quite subtle now. Now you can really see that under there. That's
really good,
that's a lovely background. And you put that on a card.
Yes.
You put your snowflake.
Oh, that's lovely.
Against the side like that. Wow, you've got two great sort of background
I'm sort of
finishes.
picturing as well the standard Christmas cards that we see.
Yes.
You don't see things like that, do you, usually, in those sort of colours? So if you have got, say, your stall or something and you're selling on, or you just want to make it for friends and family, it's going to be one of those ones that will really stand out as different, I think, to everything else that you've actually got as well.
Yeah, and we did talk about make to sell before. So if you're making to sell, if you go to a craft fair and you walk around it and people, they have their cards there, it's Christmas, so they're all going to look quite similar.
That won't.
This is what Tim Holtz gives you.
Yeah.
He gives you points of difference. He gives you something unique. And that's why eventually somebody is going to choose your cards because they're different to everybody else. And I know you're all super skilled out there, so you can do all this, you know, with no problem at all.
Yeah.
But that's what I love about Tim, is it's exciting because I never know where he's going to go
with
his collections. I really don't. But really nice techniques.
Fabulous, isn't it? So if you do want, of course, that embossing folder that we've just seen being used, we have got that down from £11.99 to £7.99 today. And you can see that finish that you get with this, but also those gorgeous techniques that Pete showed you there that you can actually do with this to really bring out, you know, that 3D embossing that you get with this as well. Whether you're thinking of it as sort of beads hanging, whether you're thinking kind of chandeliers, it's going to create the most gorgeous, gorgeous backgrounds when you get that. Now, the other thing, obviously, that you use was the luster wax. Now, we do have each of these available individually, but of course, again, the best way to get them is to go for the bundle, which is where you are going to get 5 different colours, so 20ml pots of these, and then you're also going to be getting the glue to go with these as well. Now, individually, that has completely sold out. So how do you use
Actually, it's, I just need to jump in, because it's not actually glue.
That's what I was just suddenly thinking.
What it is, I'm reaching
liquid
down
gloss.
here. It's always the last thing. It's always the last thing. But if you look at these cards, you see these little dewdrops. Okay, let's get... Yeah, so it's called liquid gloss. And you'll notice here, and on the petals of the poinsettia, they're like kind of dewdrops. And this works with spring flowers, summer flowers.
Great, isn't it?
But you put it on just like glue, little pearls. It looks milky, and then it dries perfectly clear. But it's got that lovely kind of domed effect. So it does look like rain has settled onto that. And there we go. There's
having you able to get exactly the shape you want. And you kind of see from the smaller sort of drops to the larger ones.
Exactly.
That you've got as well.
You can go from really small to really big. So that's what that is. It's called liquid gloss.
I love that. That's
it's
really
great,
clever,
isn't it? I know. I love it. Yeah.
And works so well alongside, of course, all of these. So that has gone individually. So you're not able to get it on its own, only as part of this big bundle as well. If you did go for them all individually, that's your price, £55.94. But of course, once again, we are going to give you a deal price opportunity on this. So £39.90. They're not even like small drops, are they? It's actually sort of like big chunks are being taken out of each of these. So down to £39.99 for you to get that lovely mix of colours that we can see, of course, with these. I think we just had a message in from Tracy as well. Hello, Tracy. I could watch Pete all day. So talented. His crafting is so inspirational. I think everybody would agree with that.
You know, they say you know, a bad workman blames his tools, but I give credit to my tools. I give credit to the dyes because, you know, half the work's done for me. So, but thank you, Tracy. I appreciate it.
It's nice to say it. Yeah. You know, if I was doing these demos, they wouldn't be turning out that way.
You'd
so
take
it
all
is
the credit.
you. No, I could take no credit because they just... Yeah, I wouldn't be able to do what you could do at all. You should take some credit too. So the colours that you've got within these is you have got your lilac rainbow, you've also got your gold, you have then got within this your rose gold, plus you have got the ivory that we can see, and then finally you have got that charcoal. So 5 very different colours, but again, seeing you kind of use a couple together works really well.
The lilac rainbow's got that lovely iridescence about
Lovely.
it. It's a fabulous colour, it really is.
And if you do want any of them individually, £8.99 each, so they're a really good price individually. But of course, this is the only way to be able to get this, because that has completely sold out individually. So if you want to get that as part of the bundle, then you are managing to get that today at £39.99. And I've just spotted that it's available actually on split pay as well, which doesn't normally come in unless it's over £50. So it must have gone on the start price, but that does mean you can take all of that home today for £20 if you would like to, which is even better, isn't it, sometimes? Which one are we jumping out next? We're thinking of, okay. Do you know one of my favourite places in the world is actually Brooklyn side of New York, and kind of sitting on the little beach that's there in Dumbo and looking at the sun sort of go down and seeing that skylight turn up.
It's fabulous, isn't it?
Yeah.
I remember my first time in New York, it was 1988.
Okay.
And I remember coming from the airport on the bus, and then suddenly you come through, and there it is, that skyline.
It's unbelievable, isn't it, as you drive across that bridge?
It's a movie set. It's a movie set everywhere you go. The first place I stayed was Columbia University at the Student Hall, which is where they filmed the beginning of Ghostbusters.
Oh, really?
I'm like,
I'm there.
I'm a geek, you know, so I make no apologies.
The first time I went over, I was at Performing Arts School, and they took us over for our trip when we were 18. And we were sort of working on Broadway and working with sort of some of the biggest sort of shows over there. And you know, when you're thinking, how has this happened? Like, how have you arrived, isn't it, almost? So
it's incredible.
To be able to kind of transport that onto a card, like we're saying about our memories, there'll be so many people at home or who you gift this to that have those memories, which I think make it even more special, actually.
It's kind of magical, and that's why I think Tim combined the Santa and Sleigh with the skyline. We did see, I make no excuse for this, but I'm going to bring in some of those dyes again in case folks missed the beginning of the show. That just screams New York to me.
Doesn't it?
Elf.
Home Alone as well.
Home Alone. Yeah, there you go. There's another one.
And I really love these little kind of tiny ones that could be little notelets or little mini cards, maybe for your school friends if you've got 30 school friends, or, you know, things like that. They're just lovely, aren't they?
Why not? Or even place settings, you know, at Christmas
Yes, absolutely.
time.
Put a little gift voucher in.
I haven't got time for that because I'm going to be cooking.
Oh, are you? Okay.
Yeah, Fraser, on my birthday. So, but it includes the moon, this set. It includes the Santa, the sleigh. You've got that lovely... this,
exactly. That is an image on its own, isn't it?
But you're building pictures, you're building stories. You know, you've got the foreground, you've got the background, and then you've got the sky and, of course, the moon dropping back there. It has great depth. It's ideal for pop-up cards. And I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do pop-up cards.
And I think as well, just there, when you've just kind of emptied all of these dies out, that's when you get the idea of how many actually come within these sets as well, because that's where you see how there's loads of them that kind of then work together, join up, kind of create, like you said, the moon having 2 different dies and things like that.
So it's so well thought through. You know, you've got this is the side of the truck. You've got the wreath and the bow, which sit on the same die. That's for. You've got the 3 inner bits for the trees, and you've got the 3 separate trees, but they're all on one die. So if we did them separates, we could say, oh, there are X amount of dies in this, but we don't. We make it. When I say we, I'm talking about Tim, of course. But it really makes it easier for everybody at home. But for now, I'm using the moon.
I'm excited to see a pop-up one as well. Yeah, that'd be lovely. We are getting quite limited, I will be honest with you now, within this bundle. Obviously, this is launched yesterday, has been incredibly popular throughout today as well. I think we will have probably sold out by midnight, to be honest with you, because of the numbers that we now have left. It is, of course, down from $89.95 to $59.99, and it is available, if you prefer, on that split pay option, so you can get all of it home by £30 if you wanted to. But if you do want it, because lots of you are sitting with this still in your baskets, you do need to ensure that you check out on it to make sure that you actually manage to get it as well.
Yeah, so what I've done here is I've put the individual pieces down. So there's the 2 parts of the moon and the centre. And I've used some of this lovely Maker's tape. It's a low-tack. If you do shop by brand, you'll find it on the website. It's perfect for making sure your dies stay where you want them to stay, because there's nothing worse than it running through the machine and finding that it's kind of slipped out of register. It's nothing about the dies or the machine. It's, you know, it's just one of those things.
Great with that tape, though, as well, I was thinking in terms of how it comes off quite easily, because you do sometimes see some low-tack tape that gets very sticky when it goes through the machine.
Yeah, I mean, people in the past have used washi tape, but not all washi tapes are created equally.
No, exactly.
So some of them will pull the fibres off the top of your card, and that's a disaster. So, it's specially formulated so that it doesn't stick to the card. And I usually, when in work, if you see my machine in work, it's covered with strips of this, which I reuse. Even though I've got dozens of rolls of it, I still reuse it.
Yes.
Because I was once, I used to have to pay for all this stuff. So
you want
I understand that. You know, it's, you know, when you're paying for it, you want to reuse it where possible.
Definitely.
So you can see that Maker's tape, that's good to go. Stick it on the side of your machine. And it's ready to fight another day. Now, I'm just popping these middle bits out. The moon is actually, this was released in a Halloween set. And much, much bigger. So you've got a nice...
Yes, you could use it for Halloween kind of makes as well, couldn't you? You don't need to just use it for these Christmas ones.
You know, if you do this in, like, say, 2 shades of orange and put a bat in front of that, you're good to go. So we'll take Santa. This is out of a deep blue card, so I'll peel off my Maker's tape there. So, Santa's fallen out all by himself. Just these little bits which need a little extra help there. And that's it. We are ready to go. So let's pop these down. So there's my Santa. There's the 2 pieces of the moon. I'll pop this to one side. And now it comes time to stick things together. So I'm going to bring my silicone mat back in again and scribble some glue over the surface like that. That's it's always easier to take the die cut to the glue rather than the glue to the die cut. At least that's what I think. Anyway. So there we are. So I'll pop that down there, get that in the right place, and then just hold that together for a second. And that's all ready. See the difference that makes just by having that very subtle pale blue.
Definitely.
It's gorgeous, isn't it? So this is my pop-ups. Now, I actually created this pop-up centre myself. There are all sorts of online tutorials which teach you how to do this. It's confusing at first, but once you've done a couple, you never need to look at the tutorial again because you get into it. Yeah, it does. You kind of you know, it's easy once you've done it 2 or 3 times. You get the idea. But there's, I mean, I'll show you how to do any super easy pop-up in a second. Now I'm actually going to use my finger, and I'm going to apply the glue there. The great thing about PVA is it just rubs off. There was a kind of glue when I was a kid. I can't remember what it was. It was probably quite toxic. But I used to put it on the back of my hand and peel it off.
Yes, I remember.
Have you done that?
Yes, I used to do it at school. You used to paint it all over yourself on purpose because you...
Just to peel it off.
Yeah, just to peel it off.
I've got hairy hands now, so it's not such a good idea.
Would have been quite uncomfortable.
Not really appealing anymore.
No.
But there you go. That's it. That's the real depth that you're getting. If you did this in 3 layers, you could get the buildings as well, you know. So if you really want to go to town on that, I'm actually tearing up the base here.
Okay.
Because I want to stick this down. This time I will take PVA card. So just a little bit on the back there. Remember with PVA, the thinner you do it, the quicker it's going to dry. So don't think that you need to put tons on because it will take forever to dry. And my card has been pre-stamped.
Oh, yes, lovely. With the Peace on Earth.
Bearing the legend Peace on Earth. So to prove that it works as a pop-up,
go on.
I'm going to hold it down like that. Hopefully when I open it up, the glue will have set to the point where, there you go, as that.
Wow.
But so simple.
Isn't it? And I mean, from that die set, you had so many dies, and you've just used a few of them, you know, 3 of them that you've literally got there, and that has just created the most perfect scene, hasn't it? Just in itself like that, which is just phenomenal.
You could even dot the trees at the back as well.
Yeah, you could do,
couldn't you,
if you wanted to.
Trees in there. You know, it's just a super, super versatile set. That is so simple, so graphic. I just love that.
I love it. I really do. I mean, it's just so clever, everything that we're getting to see. So that is that die set that we can see just here, which is your Vault Christmas Magic that we're seeing. And of course, you know, we've used a few elements to create that amazing pop-up, but there's so much more that you get with this as well, from your lamppost to that lovely wreath with the bow, the Christmas trees as well, the vans, the lovely car that we're seeing, which is just absolutely exquisite, isn't it? So a gorgeous, gorgeous set that we've got there with the Vault Christmas Magic. We then also have your Vault Festive wreath that we've got there, and I think wreaths are synonymous, aren't they, for Christmas? You know, you think of the way you put them on your doors. We are down now to the final one of this individually, so if you do want it individually, there is only the one final chance available at £14.99. Comes, of course, with the candles as well, comes with all those lovely poinsettias, you know, the leaves, the berries that we've got, that lovely clementine as well. It's just absolutely magical at that fabulous price. We've also got this set that we can see here, very different to the others. We've seen, obviously, that fabulous snowflake, the size of it as well, how different it can look depending on what you cut it out with. Maybe if you're using your luster wax, for example, on that. Also, love the ice skates. Give me lots of memories of being a child there. And then we've got that really cool little snowman where you can place the arms wherever you want because they are separate dies as well for you to be able to get this. We've then got this one, which is your set of Wish, Peace, and you've got Noel that we can see. You've got the little bells that come with this. You've also got the larger kind of poinsettia image, as well as all of that extra foliage to be able to really build up those lovely images that we've got. And then finally, we have this. I mean, the fact that this comes with all of your letters, all of your numbers as well. So you'll be able to use them all year round. I mean, 43 dies within this. And then you've got the beautiful holly sprig that we can see. You've got that lovely flower as well. And obviously those overlay dies there to be able to give you that lovely finish that we're seeing as well. So individually, they're at brilliant prices of $14.99. But of course, the best way to get them, and the most popular way, but what is now very, very limited, is to be able to get them at this price. $89.95 is where we should be. We are instead at $59.99 today. So we are obviously giving you a £30 saving. So it's almost like we're saying you can have 2 of these for free, isn't it? Pretty much the ones that have gone down when they go down to that discount price sort of thing. So £15. So a brilliant opportunity to be able to jump in and take these. £30 altogether if you want to get them on split pay as well, which is absolutely super. Now the luster wax as well, lots of you coming in for this. This is where you are getting the 5, of course, different luster waxes. You are also getting, which I just love, and we've just seen the finish of what this actually does as well. So we've got that that brilliant liquid gloss that we're seeing, and like you said, you put it on almost like glue, which might be why it's been named glue on our screen, but it doesn't do what glue does. Instead, it creates those beautiful dewdrops that we can see and those water droplets that we have. Limited on this bundle as well now. We are pretty much down to single figures, so if you want to get them single figure opportunities to be able to jump in and get it. One other thing we haven't mentioned, which we still have availability on, is the opulent cardstock pack. I just love this. I can always remember the first ever show that we did together, and this was something that you brought, and I just looked at it and I was like, how do you get this kind of array of cardstock within one pack? And this just shows it perfectly, because you can see how that's been created with all the different bits of card.
Yeah, so there's the mat in the background, which is embossed. Then you've got the mirror. Then you've got the pearlized. You've got the brushed metal, and also that lovely non-shed glitter. So you're getting the 5 surfaces. They work great individually, but when you put them together, wow.
Even better, yes. I've just noticed we've got 6 chances left. So
okay.
that's all we have. So you are getting 50 sheets today. Now, your start price is £19.99 to be able to get all of that. We are going to give you a drop on this as well, £16.99 today, but it's for the fastest people to get involved, because that's all that we have left now is 6 chances. Yeah, as we say, so much from the show has completely sold out. A lot of it now is very limited, like you've seen there, like you've seen the Lusterworks. Something else we have available, but again is very, very limited of what we have left, is this, which is your 80 sheets of your cardstock that we've got left for you to be able to jump in and get. This is brilliant. Yes.
Come on, this is it.
I just love how you've actually done this as well, because it shows the texture of it. It also shows the colour sort of array that we get.
216 gram, 80 pounds if you're in America. It's got that lovely linen texture on one side, and of course it's kind of flat on the back. It's great for construction, for boxes, for cards, for tags and so on, but for die cutting, of course, it's a Sizzix product, so it's going to be fabulous. And believe it or not, I've got some colour swatches. I haven't got them with me, unfortunately, but this works for every season of the year. You could pull Halloween out of this. You could pull Easter. You could pull, if you want to do something that's sort of gender-specific, little boy, little girl. You know, you've got your neutrals, you've got your Christmas. It's something for everybody in this set. It's just really, really cool.
And to get 20 colours, I just think is brilliant, because like you're saying, you buy this, you've got this in your stash, and you're ready to go with any card, really, that your inspiration comes from, whether it's this collection, whether it's other things that you've got at home. And again, we are at a superb price tag for you to be able to get this. £22.99 is where we should be, which for me, I'm already thinking is brilliant. But actually, today, you can get this for under £20. But yeah, it is limited once again, and that is something else that I'm sure is going to sell out very, very quickly, because it's been so popular across all of the shows that we've seen, understandably, with the amount that you're actually getting within this, and that lovely finish that you get with the linen cardstock on that side. And that I love, because I just think it really shows it all off as well. We don't have to kind of be flicking through it, do we? Just like, ta-da, here's our fan. To Anne-Marie, Magali, Sandra, New Crafts in Hampshire, Julie, welcome to the show as well. Well done, of course, if you do manage to get that, because, yeah, it's there for all seasons, as you said. What would you like to do next?
What we're going to do, we're going to look at the candles. We're going to take because we've talked about the different elements in the wreath. There are so many different elements, but I want to look at the candles. And this time we're going to be introducing a little bit of colour. But
this one has now sold out individually, just to let people know. That has now gone completely. So if you do want to get that one that we're seeing just there with the wreath, the only way is as part of the bundle, which again is limited now as well.
It is indeed. Now, we say there's, I think they said there were 14 or 16 dies in this, but if you look at it, there's 2 dies there. They're together. They're all part of the same one. This one, you get the individual berries and you get the fronds, so you add the berries to that. So there's 6 dies there. The poinsettia, that is 4 separate dies. So actually there's 36 separate elements in this. But to get the colour, for what I'm doing, you can see I've used my distress inks to create these little backgrounds. This is going to be the base. This is where the candles are going to sit. So to start off, I'm taking my water and I'm going to give that a nice spritz. So that is going to give kind of the effect of snow, hopefully. But I just need to let the water soak into that ink. And this actually I inked about 4 or 5 days ago when I was preparing for the show. But it's still active. So then I put my paper towel down. You can see where that's lifted and it just takes it away like that. You can let it dry naturally. It gives you a different kind of vibe, but that works for me.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Now, I'm just going to do the candle. I'm not going to do the fronds. I'm just going to show you the finished example because we're probably not going to have time, unfortunately. But this is my candle. And again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hang on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Wow,
8 elements.
within that.
So there's actually 38 different elements in this
Even more
wreath.
than we first kind of.
Something I want to say about the wreath. Tim's been doing these vault collections all year.
Okay.
Now, this is the 3rd or 4th wreath. Some of them are spring. One is Halloween. One is summer. So they've all got a different look, but they all work together as well. So the base wreaths, this bit, they're all about the same size.
I see, so you can bring them all together and use them.
But they're different in style, different in look, but they will go together.
Okay,
yeah,
that's really
together.
good to know, isn't it?
And some of those different flowers as well, because if you say, you know, it doesn't have to be Christmas.
Yeah.
This candle doesn't, you know, it could be in your Halloween set. If you want to make it look creepy, you can make it look creepy.
Yeah. And that's where just using different cardstock, different colours, kind of adding different distress inks, for example, make such a difference, don't they, with these dies?
Huge, absolutely huge. So that's my base. I'm just going to leave that one clear. Now let's take my 2 candles to start off with. And what I'm going to do, I want to get some contrast in here. So I'm going to bring my antique linen, one of my all-time favourites.
Is it?
Oh, I love it. I love it. I think, you know, it's always one of those questions. I remember Zoe Hellman, who's a licensed designer for Tim Holtz. She's incredible. But I was with her in a trade show last year. And we were talking for hours on end about if we were on a desert island, which 6 colours would you... Do you know, it's a lovely game, that is. It's only distress ink fanatics who can play that game.
But to choose 6 colours, I bet you found that hard, right?
It was impossible. When I said to Zoe, her face, the blood drain from her face, is like, I can't choose 6. All right, well, you got to, because that's the game.
That's the game.
That's the game, so you've got no choice. But we did. We got there.
And this was one you chose, this colour?
This, this would have to be. This would have to be in there. It'd be interesting. Have a think at home what 6 you would... You know, if you are a distress ink fanatic, you know, which ones would you choose? It's so hard to do. It really is. It's like the whole... You know, it's Desert Island Discs.
Yes, exactly.
It's so hard to limit it to 7 songs or 8, whatever it is. It's almost impossible. And the more you think about it, the harder it gets.
And the more you think of different ideas, don't you?
And then you think about the ones that you forgot. And, man.
100%.
But it's the same with distress inks.
We've got about 2 minutes left on the show. Just
2 minutes left on the show. OK, I got you. Less chat, more work, Pete. Come on.
Less thinking about our colours on desert islands.
what I will do, I know. There's me, you know, we're live TV and I'm on a desert island.
We're having a lovely little chat, you know.
I know.
Like tonight at night, why not?
But there we go. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show the elements, I'm going to put them together without gluing them, and then we'll do a here's one I made earlier. How about that? There you go. Right, now. So let's take the yellow, because I have actually got the flames as well. So I'm just going to get a bit of yellow down there like that, and a bit of yellow on that one there. So when I do start to put it together, that lovely subtle layering that we've got.
Yeah, super.
See the difference there? There's 1, this one goes over the top. There's 2, then you bring in the dripping wax. 3, so that little bit of inking.
Yeah, definitely.
Has given it depth, it's given it dimension. You know, then this one goes on the bottom. We'll pretend we put the flames on it. Because I'm just going to sweep these to one side.
Super.
And we're going to bring out the original samples.
Perfect.
And there you go. So that's it. That's with a single candle.
Fabulous, isn't it?
That's with a double candle. And the poinsettia and the leaves and so on and so forth, they've been cut from that card, which I inked up earlier. So just a little bit more inking around there. Let's look at the wreath in all its glory. Let's talk about just plain old card. No inks, none whatsoever. That's just what you get from Scissors Cards, what you get from Tim Holtz.
And
you can get from HobbyMaker.
Yes, exactly. You can see, of course, from all of those kind of samples what we can create. So do remember, we are limited now on this. So we're very, very limited on that final collection. So if you want to go and get that, then do, of course, take advantage. You're getting all 5 of those sets, which is amazing. Thank you so much. I know the 2 days of watching you has been absolutely fabulous.
Well, thank you. It's been fun,
And obviously to Tim Holtz as well for enabling us to give that first look of that collection. Do check out your baskets. Well done, and we will see you very, very soon.
Shopping with HobbyMaker couldn't be easier. You can shop via our website at www.hobbymaker.co.uk, where you can watch our live shows and see all the products from that day. We also have a huge amount of products on our website, from your craft room essentials to paper, tools, cutting machines and much more. You can download and shop on the go with our HobbyMaker app. Simply head over to your app store and search HobbyMaker. Alternatively, you can call our UK-based call centre 24 hours a day on 0800 001 4433. Shopping made easy at HobbyMaker. Our call centre is based in the UK and available 24/7. Just call 0800 001 4433 or email help@hobbymaker.co.uk.
Here at HobbyMaker, we only charge 1 P&P throughout the day. You can add as many items to your basket and checkout and still only be charged once. Once you've checked out the first time and want to order again, you simply add the item to the basket and click on the Combine Order button. Shopping made easy at HobbyMaker.
When you purchase anything on HobbyMaker, you have a 30-day money-back guarantee, meaning that you can shop with confidence. Happy shopping with HobbyMaker.
Every day, our experts will bring you a wealth of knowledge. They'll take you through the steps of making projects, and we feature fabulous tips along the way. Whether you're new to crafting or a seasoned pro, you are sure to learn something new. We are live every day from 1 p.m. to 8 p.m, and you can also watch back all of the demonstrations featured on the show on our YouTube channel.
Brand. Sentimentally Yours has been around since 2014. I've been a crafter actually much longer than that. So I've been crafting for well over 20 years. Card making, scrapbooking I've dabbled in as well. And it got to the point where my friends, my family were asking me to make cards, do invitations and things like that. And it very quickly became the start of a business. Sentimentally Yours was actually born because I found it difficult to find products, specific products. Sentiments were what we were lacking. So people were phoning me up saying, can you get me a sentiment with this on, with that on? And I just couldn't. So I designed my own. I've heard lots of good things about HobbyMaker and their progression and how they developed. It was the right time for Sentimentally Yours to be involved in something new and exciting. And hopefully I can contribute to that as well and bring something different to the HobbyMaker brand and the family. I probably will. But that's a good thing, and I'm really, really excited about joining in the evolution of HobbyMaker. I can guarantee that my shows are going to be fun, because fun is what crafting should be. I want that whole process to be fun and informative and educational. And I think if I can achieve those three things during the time that my shows are live, I'm winning.
HobbyMaker is on the hunt for the Card Maker of the Year. Are you ready for the challenge? We are giving you full creative control. Create your cards in any design for any occasion using any technique. Just make sure to use at least one item purchased from HobbyMaker. We will select 10 winners with the following prizes. First place gets £100 credit plus a HobbyMaker goodie bag. Second to fifth place gets £50 credit to their HobbyMaker account. And 6th to 10th place gets £25 credit to their HobbyMaker account. To enter, simply send us your handmade card along with an envelope. Card Maker of the Year competition, HobbyMaker Unit 2D, Eagle Road, Moonsmote, Redditch, Worcestershire. B989HF. Please include a note with your name, email address and phone number. Do not write on the back of your card. Entries must be received by Monday the 23rd of September 2024. Winners and runners-up will be notified on the 30th of September 2024 and announced live on air. All cards will be donated to our chosen charity once the winners have been notified. Good luck!
Never miss a show by watching on the go with our brand new HobbyMaker app. Head over to your app store now and search HobbyMaker and simply download to your smartphone or tablet. you can watch the shows live and see your favourite presenters and guests. Click on the Today's button to shop all of the products that are featured in today's show. Want to know what's hot? Then click here to see today's bestsellers and highlights. Have you missed a show or want to watch one back? Then click the schedule button and you can go back 7 days to watch and shop, and you can also see what's coming up over the next 7 days. Want to say hello or ask a question to our guests? Then send a message to the studio. You can also keep in touch with all the latest news, events, product launches and much more by clicking here for our social media pages. So never miss a show by watching on the go with our brand new HobbyMaker app.
Good afternoon, everybody. Hello, it's that time just after 1 o'clock, and happy Tuesday afternoon. We're HobbyMaker with you right the way through until 9 o'clock tonight. Thank you to John, I think, on Sewing Street, and also to Carol on Jewellery Maker as well. Oh, the insults fly, don't they?
Oh, I know, it's terrible.
He doesn't care. You're still smiling, that's the main thing. Sharon is here with you as well for quite a few shows today, actually, at least 2 shows. We've got to start off with Creative Craft. Now, what you can see by the side of me is what's coming up in the first hour. It's absolutely a huge bundle, brand new, and we've already got a lot of interest in the big bundle. You can buy smaller bundles, you can buy individuals, you can buy the whole thing if you want to as well. Details on that coming up soon. Let's have a look, though, at what's coming up this afternoon. Let's take a little look ahead. So, brand new crafting deals with Creative Craft. That's at 1. Brand new for Hunky Dory. Natalie is here with a brand new Essential Radiant Sentiments collection. Do you remember that Merry Christmas Radiant Sentiment that we could not keep in stock? They've done some more, different verses. You're going to love it. 2 o'clock. Sizzix Special with the brand new Tim Holtz from the Vault Christmas collection that was so popular yesterday. Pete is back with amazing demos at 3. And then returning favourite, the Moonstone Embossing Folder Special with Natalie at 4. Then brand new crafting deals with Creative Craft products again at 5 with Sharon. The Astralis collection from Creative Expressions at 6. We've then got another look at Hunky Dory for you. And then Sizzix Special again at 8 if there's any stock left of the Tim Holtz Christmas Vault. That is Tuesday afternoon on HobbyMaker. Let me bring Sharon in straight away. We've got a big bundle where you can buy the entire show, which is going to give you the best saving.
Yes.
But as we go through, we'll give you the 2 smaller bundles. That is bundle number 1. That is bundle number 2. And both bundles have got nesting dies. They've got lovely sentiment stamps and tags.
They have really amazing selection of nesting dies, actually. And what's really quite unique about these is the size.
Yeah.
Because the nesting dies are huge. So if you are someone that likes making 8x8 cards, I know a lot of nesting dies don't really go up to that size.
Yeah.
So you've got a great selection here. And I love the fact that you've got a mix in each pack. They're not all ovals or circles.
No, exactly.
You've got all sorts of different shapes in each set, which I like that idea.
And I love the boards you've done. This shows them brilliantly. This is your reverse scallop. Now, when I first looked at that, I thought, oh, postage stamp.
Yes, the reverse scallop does really look like postage stamp, doesn't it? Look at all the shapes you've got. So
I know.
That large square, that's your card shape. So
Yep.
if you want to make your own cards blanks, then you can do that with that large square. Then you've got a huge rectangle.
Because normally you get the same shape, just in
you
smaller
do
sizes.
in a whole set normally of the same shape. This is great to have the mix because you can see how they do layer up on top of each other to make quite interesting designs.
This is so different. I love it. No one's ever done this before, I don't think.
I don't think so.
This one is your cross-stitch. So you've got this beautiful cross-stitch effect.
Yes, it's quite faint. You can't see it so well on camera, but it's got a lovely cross-stitch design all around the edges.
You've got your circle, your diamond, your star. You've got your hexagon, your square, and the smaller circle, and the oval as well, all with the same stitch detail on the sides, which is lovely. This is one of my favourite ones. Look at this.
I like it. I think this is my favourite. It's almost like a torn edge, isn't it?
Deckled.
And I love that. So that large square, that's your card shape.
Yeah.
Cut that twice from like some of the Carnation Crafts 350 GSM card, and you've got your card shape.
That's some of the biggest dies I think I've seen. But they cut the edges beautifully. So you get your square, your circle, your hexagon, your star, and your heart, all with those deckled edges. So that's the first bundle. And then with that bundle, you're also going to get your fantastic stamps. Now, stamps for various different occasions. So whether you're having a newborn in the family or a friend or something like that, you're going to get your stamps and you're going to get your dies as well. So you can stamp your sentiment, then you get 2 dies to cut them out, like a banner design and an oval as well.
You get a mix of, each stamp set's got little little dies for cutting out your sentiments, basically.
Exactly, and you can use those dies on all of the verses and sentiments. You've then got your floral one. Stand tall and keep your face to the sunshine. Grow through, what does that say? Grow through?
I can't read it.
Grow through what you go through. Oh, I love it.
I like that.
Yeah. Play together and stay together. The most beautiful view comes after the hardest climb. And again, you're going to get these cutting dies as well to cut out what you've actually stamped. And then the last one in the stamp set is this one just here. So this is the birthday one.
So they're a great size. Obviously, they're going to work really well with all your nestables, but all of these are just everyday essentials, aren't they? Everything on this show is, actually.
And you get 2 more tag dies, of course, that will cut out the sentiments that you've actually stamped. So that's the first bundle. So you get all those nesting dies, you get all those stamps, and also the tag dies to cut your stamp sentiments out as well. Now, this is the first bundle. We have got a Buy the Show coming up as well. So that's what you're going to get in bundle number 1. Amazing deal on this one. VR4P75, 84, 94, £20 saved. It will be on split pay as well. You only have to pay $28.31 today, so it's on 3-way split pay? Yeah, 3-way split pay. $28.31 is your first split payment of 3 if you want that bundle. But if you like that, the chances are you're going to like bundle number 2.
Yes, gives you even more options.
But again, it is available completely separately if you want to buy it, and you can buy individuals on the website as well at the moment. As the show goes on, those individuals may disappear. You're going to get this one, which is your scalloped circles. Well, I say scalloped circles, it's scalloped shapes. I mean, normally nesting dies are all the same shape, just different sizes.
Yes, I like this mix.
I do.
Because, you know, you're going to use them together. Again, that square one can be your card blank. Then you've got that huge circle. Now, these are all on A4 cards that I've put these on, so that'll give you an idea of the size. That large one is about 8 by 8 inches.
OK.
So
it could be your card blank if you wanted it to be. That's your scalloped.
Yes.
Then you've got your stitched nestables. So, again, just like the previous set, you've got the stitch detail going around the edge of it.
Yes, it's got a nice fine stitch detail all around the edge of all the shapes. You've got that lovely big hexagon. Again, that could be your card shape. The huge circle could be a card shape. Then you've got heart, an oval, 2 different rectangles and another heart.
And then last one here is your Rick Rack. That is really fun.
It's nice seeing them all layered up like that.
Look at that star, it's so different. And that could even be a snowflake if you wanted it to.
It could, couldn't it? And again, you've got your large one that could be a card shape, and then all the other nesting elements. And of course, if you're going for all of them, you can mix and match across the sets, obviously.